Manitoba. It is Monday, July the 7th. You're watching CTV Morning Live. There are wildfires breaking out in other parts of the province again, and we're going to get the latest on what that looks like up north in Manitoba. Also, Joseph Bernacki has traveled to the community of Morden. He's going to tell us about the Canadian Fossil and Discovery Centre, some of the new finds there, and some of the really cool specimens and artifacts that you can find there as well, especially if you're looking for something fun to do with the kids this summer. But first, your headlines. The fire won't stop, and neither does the heartbreak. We take you to the front lines where communities are holding on as flames rage around them. NASA just discovered a new interstellar comet. It's only the third of its kind ever found, and we'll get a glimpse this December. And Lin, the giant panda, just turned 18, and his birthday party was one wild celebration you don't want to miss. Bringing in Terry. Oh, it was, again, a beautiful weekend. It was a little cooler yesterday, which wasn't a bad thing. I kind of enjoyed the little break from all that intense heat.
I didn't mind it either, except for the smoke. That was the one thing, right? I liked the fact that it was a little bit cooler, and you're right, a bit of a break from the heat that we've been feeling. But that smoke started to move in yesterday, and you can still notice it hanging around today. A few extra clouds also hanging around. It's 12 degrees to kick things off this morning. Those winds out of the northeast are light, just 9 kilometers per hour. The pressure is falling, and the humidity is sitting at 86%. And so we have our warning map lit up again. This is more of an advisory or a statement. The purple is the actual air quality warning, and that has been issued in parts of Saskatchewan. Nothing like that here in Manitoba, but you are certainly going to notice that kind of campy smell outside this morning with the smoke that's just kind of lingering now through most of northern and along that eastern border. As far as clouds go, sure, there's a few of those as well, and even the possibility of some showers or maybe some thunderstorms, and perhaps that could help with some of the smoke that we're noticing. Here you can see on the Futurecast how it'll be tracking through, and primarily through southern Manitoba, although parts of northern Manitoba do have the possibility of some very brief scattered showers. I don't think you're going to be noticing much more than the smoke through much of the north, though. It will eventually be clearing out. Tomorrow back to sunny conditions, starting to warm up again and really feeling the heat by the middle of the week. It will be a slow climb, though, from below seasonal today with 22 degrees on tap to that more normal 25 degrees, actually 26 is a seasonal daytime high. But we'll get there, and we've got some hot stuff still coming our way later this week.
Thank you, Terry. Wildfires are threatening several communities in northern Manitoba, forcing some people out of their homes. Leaders from Titasqueyak Cree Nation say at least 7 homes in the community have been destroyed by fire. About 175 people have also been forced out. This is the second time Titasqueyak Cree Nation has been evacuated during this wildfire season.
There's not enough equipment on the ground. There's not enough support with water bombers and all the essential equipment.
The Grand Chief of Marcel Colombe Cree Nation say his community needs more support, as people have also been forced to leave a second time. The community near Lin Lake is being threatened by growing fires in the region. There are more than 60 active wildfires burning in Manitoba. Meanwhile, officials are monitoring the spread of a 6,000-hectare blaze north of Thompson. A Facebook post from the city of Thompson last night says crews are carrying out work to mitigate fire risks should the blaze spread toward the city. And in Leaf Rapids, as of Sunday morning, the town has notified residents of a decision to shift from a potential evacuation to warning an evacuation is now likely and may be called at any time with 10 hours or less notice. As wildfires continue to threaten northern Manitoba, the situation is becoming all too familiar for residents, many now trapped in a cycle of alert, evacuation, and uncertainty. CTV's Alex Karpa has the latest.
Wildfires continue to threaten several communities in northern Manitoba. This video from Titasqueyak Cree Nation shows large plumes of smoke surrounding the community. Leadership on Saturday confirmed through a social media post that at least 7 homes have been destroyed from the fire on Friday. This photo shows the trail of devastation from the air. Meanwhile, those living in Marcel Colombe Cree Nation near Lin Lake are once again evacuating due to new and growing fires in the region. Those living in Leaf Rapids have been told they could be evacuating sometime soon. The city of Thompson, with about 13,000 people, is monitoring a new fire about 8 kilometers north of the city, and there are medical evacuations occurring in South Indian Lake and Pimichikamak Cree Nation.
The magnitude of these fires have really taken our communities off guard.
Grand Chief Garrison Settee has been keeping a close eye on the evolving situation up north. He is calling on the provincial and federal governments to increase resources and aid to the area to help not only the evacuees, but those on the front lines.
There's not enough equipment on the ground. There's not enough support with water bombers and all the essential equipment. Those are the challenges our First Nations face. So they're never ready to deal with any fire because of the equipment that's missing.
Manitoba has been dealing with one of its worst wildfire seasons in recent years. There are over 60 active wildfires throughout the province, with over a dozen of those out of control. Alex Carpa, CTV News, Winnipeg.
Conservative leader Pierre Poilievre was at Calgary Stampede campaigning for the upcoming by-election.
We don't back down and we don't run away when things get hard. We dust ourselves off, we get back in the saddle, and we gallop forward to the fight.
Poilievre started campaigning in the riding of Battle River Crowfoot, where he hopes to regain a seat in the House of Commons. Poilievre lost his old Ottawa area riding in April's federal election. Former Conservative MP Damien Curec resigned to allow Pierre Poilievre to run in that riding. Curec won the riding with nearly 83% of the vote. Strategists say the challenge for Poilievre will now be to not underperform in this by-election. Another issue Poilievre will have to navigate is Alberta separatism, which is something he's already spoken out against. The Battle River Crowfoot by-election is August the 18th. At least 82 people are dead and 41 people are missing after devastating flash floods in central Texas.
We'll remain 100% dedicated, searching for every single one of the children who were at Camp Mystic, as well as anybody else in the entire riverbed.
10 girls and one counselor from Camp Mystic are among the missing people. Camp Mystic is an all-girls summer camp along the Guadalupe River. 4 months worth of rain fell in the area Friday morning, triggering the flash floods. The water rose more than 6 meters in less than 2 hours during the peak of the flooding. Texas Governor Greg Abbott says flash flood warnings remain a threat in several parts of Texas, especially with more heavy rainfall expected over the next couple of days. Meanwhile, U.S. President Donald Trump says he will visit Texas on Friday. The El Paso Fire Department is sharing this video of a dramatic rescue in raging floodwaters. 2 people had been clinging to a tree before they were brought to safety. Crews from El Paso's fire department has been deployed to the regions affected by the floods. Astronomers have found a new interstellar comet. This was just the 3rd interstellar comet ever discovered by NASA. And good news, it won't hit Earth, probably. It's estimated the closest it will come to our planet is 241 million kilometers away. We should be able to see this comet again in December. It was a party time for a male giant panda in China, celebrating a major milestone. Xu Lin just turned 18, and his zoo family threw a birthday bash, including a custom cake made with durian fruit, apples, and bamboo shoots. Winnipeg just got a shout-out in a new track by Chance the Rapper. In case you missed that, that was Lil Wayne saying he's cold as Winnipeg. It's a line from Chance the Rapper's newest single called Tree. The song is part of a larger project called Starline Gallery, which the rapper has been working on for some time. Here's a look now at what's happening on Kenaston Boulevard. It looks like things are starting off really well over here. No issues to tell you about in traffic at this point in the morning. If you see any issues out there, though, please let us know. Let's go now to Joseph Bernacki, who is live in Morden this morning at the Canadian Fossil and Discovery Center. Good morning.
Good morning, Rochelle, and good morning, Manitoba. Yeah, we made a road trip this morning, as Rochelle mentioned at the top of the hour. We're inside the basement of the Canadian Fossil Discovery Center here in Morden. Really, really unbelievable experience if you've never been here before. Today was my first time checking out this place. It's really cool. I've had a chance to do a few stories here from CTV News Winnipeg, but never at the Discovery Center until now. And what you're looking at, cameraman Kenny, is showing the largest mosasaur here in the province and really almost of the Western world. This was Bruce that was behind me here, and you're taking a look at what the Cretaceous period looked like, what Manitoba would have been like more than 80 million years ago. So this is before Lake Agassiz. If you know a little bit about a history, southern Manitoba was all underwater. This predates all of that. So coming up, we're going to be having some really great conversations with the paleontologist here and lab and field technician, and we'll be back coming up shortly.
I love getting history lessons. All right, thank you, Joseph. Terry, when they say you have the patience of a capybara, this is probably what they meant. Capybaras are known for their relaxed and friendly nature. Even in situations like this little Billy is being a bully, but the calm Cappy doesn't mind while being headbutted. No wonder all animals love them. Look at him, he's not even phased. He's like, nope, I'm not going anywhere.
Oh,
I'm not moving.
Okay, like a couple of things. First of all, goats are jerks, but also that upper body strength that little capybara has, right? He was just braced.
Oh, yes.
I suppose the alternative is going head first into a pool, so
and
maybe there's an
that.
incentive there.
Today might be a good pool day, or?
I would save it for later this week. Today will be a nice day. Well, I was going to say it'll be a nice patio day because it's not going to get too hot, but it is going to be a little bit smoky, so that might kind of put a bit of a damper on your plans. Speaking of damper on the plans, we could also see some showers, maybe some thunderstorms later on today. Right now it's 13 degrees to kick things off. The sun is up. There are a few extra clouds though, so I'm not sure how much longer we'll be enjoying that sunshine this morning. The winds on the lighter side, they'll stay that way today out of the north-northeast right now. They're just 5 kilometers per hour with the pressure falling and the humidity sitting at 84%. So yes, once that sun climbs a little bit higher, the clouds waiting to mask it somewhat, but there's also the possibility of some showers or thunderstorms throughout, well, certainly southern Manitoba, but even northern Manitoba has the possibility of a little brief passing precipitation, but more likely it's going to be a southern Manitoba thing with the showers or possible thunderstorms today and the slightly cooler below seasonal temperatures topping out in the low 20s today, but we're going to be back up into the mid-20s tomorrow and feeling the heat in just a couple of days. Taking a break right now, we'll be back with more CTV Morning Live.
Weather brought to you by Blinds Are Beautiful at 900 Lorimer Boulevard, featuring Hunter Douglas shades.
Good morning. It is 6:15. Health officials are warning about 2 more potential measles exposures at hospital emergency rooms. They're at the Health Sciences Center Children's Hospital Emergency Department between 11:10 p.m. Monday, June 30th and 1:25 a.m. the following morning. The other is the Emergency Department at Boundary Trails Health Center from 10:20 p.m. July 1st to 1:35 a.m. July 2nd. Anyone who was at those locations during those times is being asked to monitor for symptoms for about 3 weeks and make sure their vaccines are up to date. The City of Winnipeg has hired the Main Street Project to provide 24-hour-a-day mobile outreach to homeless people in the city. The Main Street Project will offer support, transportation, wellness checks, and connections to shelters and housing services. Officials from the organization say the funding will allow them to meet people where they're at, building trust and opening the door to stability in housing. The contract is worth $275,000 and runs from July 1st until December 31st. Included in the deal is the option for 2 mutually agreed upon 1-year extensions. Alberta beef and other meat may cost a lot more this year than it did last. A new global food index has been tracking climbing costs and the reasons why some staples are taking a bigger bite out of the budget. CTV's Kamil Karamali has that story.
This Toronto butcher shop,
I'll send my friend,
bustling on this Sunday.
This is such a treat today.
A rare treat because meat for some has become a luxury.
Definitely meat is more.
Just listen to how much some of these meats
something like oxtail
have gone up in price.
Prices have practically tripled for myself.
The owner of this shop, Marlon Rosenbaum, feeling a bit raw about how much he's had to dish out for some cuts.
It's a tough time for small businesses. Everything costs more than it ever did before.
Meat, one of multiple items to see a price jump globally this month. The other items, vegetable oil and dairy. Meat now hitting an all-time high, up 2% since May, but rising more than 6% since last June. Vegetable oil also seeing a 2% increase since May, up 18% from last year. And although dairy only saw a 0.5% increase since May, it's jumped up 20% since this time last year.
We're seeing reduced production because there are fewer cows around. We've seen dry weather in North America in the last couple of years there's been less feed available.
Less feed available to raise cows not only puts the price of dairy on the rise, it means with a surging population, there's less to go around.
The world will be short 5 times Canada's national production by 2030, so that pressure will only increase.
But these global food prices don't always reflect Canadian food prices. Take vegetable oil, for example, surging in price globally, but in Canada, the cost has actually gone down.
We have excess supply of canola oil in this country, which is the predominant oil that we use.
All in all, people will still have to pay more for most foods. So what gives you hope to keep going?
I think just trying to keep in mind that good quality meat is something that there will always be a demand for.
Hoping that for these customers, locally sourced meat will still be a cut above the rest. Kamil Karamali, CTV News, Toronto.
There is optimism from the U.S. president on a potential ceasefire in Gaza ahead of his meeting with Israel's prime minister today.
I think there's a good chance we have a deal with Hamas during the coming week, pertaining to quite a few of the hostages. You know, we've gotten a lot of the hostages out, but pertaining to the remaining hostages, quite a few of them will be coming out. We think we'll have that done this week.
Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu arrived in Washington Sunday. He'll sit down with Trump at the White House today. The U.S. president has vowed to be firm about ending the war in Gaza. Followers of the Dalai Lama celebrating the spiritual leader's 90th birthday on Sunday.
The most extraordinary biped to ever walk on this planet. Thank you, Your Holiness.
Global leaders have sent messages of support to the Dalai Lama, who says he is hoping to live to 130. He says when he dies, he will then reincarnate as the next leader of the faith, and that his Buddhist sect has the sole authority to identify his successor. That's despite China saying it would need to approve the next Dalai Lama. Manitoba added a gold medal to the province's football history on Sunday. Football Manitoba hosted the Under-18 Indigenous Cup at the St. Vital Mustangs Field starting Thursday. Sunday was the final day for playoff games, determining who would take home the medals. Teams from Alberta, Saskatchewan, Manitoba, and Northwestern Ontario competed. Manitoba faced off against Alberta in the gold medal match, and it was a close one. In the end, Team Manitoba came out on top, capping off the weekend as champions.
What a fantastic ending to the tournament. The fact that it came down to last-second plays and laterals and big comebacks and all these things going on, it was so much fun, and I think everyone really enjoyed it.
Team Manitoba's Indigenous Cup roster included 27 players from about 4 different communities. Their jerseys featured the updated language to represent the communities, bands, and tribes that make up the team. Congrats to them. Here's a look now what's happening on the Norwood Bridge. It looks like things are moving quite well here. No issues to tell you about. If you see problems out on the streets, please let us know.
CTV Morning Live Traffic brought to you by Mr. Lube Plus Tires. No appointment needed.
All right, seeing the sun shining out there this morning, but there's also a little bit of smoke and just a couple of bugs. Just one bug. He's gone. Oh, he's back. Anyway, we're looking now through the Bath Fitter Live Eye. Bath Fitter, your bath and shower experts for more than 40 years. Certainly noticed that smoke starting to settle in yesterday. You're going to notice it again today in many places around the province. You're probably also noticing slightly cooler temperatures after it kind of cooled down a little bit Sunday. Today, waking up to more of the same or closer to seasonal. In fact, 13 degrees where we are right now is a normal low. So many places are sitting right in that zone. There are a couple of places just north of us through more central Manitoba coming in those high single digits. We've got Dauphin, Pinawa at 8 degrees, Gimli just a little better at 9. Northern Manitoba, you're in for a warm one today. Temperatures will be on the rise. Smoke will be lingering though, especially in areas through this more north central stretch of the province. That's where it's going to be the smokiest. Here you can see the air quality warning map. No actual warnings in place. Those would be lit up purple, as you can see in parts of Saskatchewan, but the advisory or the statement regarding the air quality does still remain in place, and maybe not seeing much in the way of improvements, although showers could help. Showers or maybe thunderstorms that we'll be seeing rolling through southern Manitoba. For northern Manitoba, it'll be very touch and go with a possible precipitation. As far as temperatures rising through the day today, by noontime, hitting up into the low 20s and not making much more gains into the afternoon. 22 degrees are expected high for today, slightly below the seasonal 26 degrees, but tomorrow getting closer and then surpassing it. We've got some hot stuff coming our way this week and clearing after today. And what an incredible capture of nature with the fire burning in the background there, northern lights, the full moon, or almost, it's the moon. Anyway, thanks to Tara Lee for this. Keep them coming, please, to Winnipeg Weather at ctv.ca. We'll see you right after this break.
Good morning. We have an amazing story from Ontario where a senior got into trouble while swimming at a beach. A 12-year-old girl realized what was going on and quickly sprang into action, likely helping to save his life. CTV's Hannah Schmidt with the details of the rescue.
Emergency crews were called to this small cove in Port Dover Saturday afternoon after a 65-year-old swimmer experienced a medical episode while in the water.
I got notified. I was at the other end of the beach. I was notified that there was someone in distress having, they thought was a heart attack on the beach.
Thanks to a coordinated effort between a young relative and a nearby beachgoer, help came quickly.
12-year-old young girl, I think, was related to him and pulled him out of the water. Was able to get him close enough to the shore that some bystanders pulled him in, and then were able to start performing CPR immediately.
The swimmer was later transported to hospital.
After the individual was transported to the hospital, they were conscious and stable, and no major injuries. Without that swift action, that swift thinking, and ability to recognize a dangerous situation, it could have been a vastly different outcome.
The rescue follows several water-related fatalities across southwestern Ontario in recent weeks, including drownings at the Elora Quarry and Ipperwash Beach.
So there's often drownings in open water, and this year is no different. We are seeing those open water drownings happening far too frequently this year.
Life Saving Society Ontario says while summer draws more people to the water, conditions can change quickly, even for experienced swimmers.
July is always the most significant month for drownings. You need to inform yourself about what that body of water is like. Is it deep? Is it shallow? Is it rough? Are there currents? Lots of things can happen.
Police and safety officials are urging families to stay alert, especially when swimming at unsupervised beaches.
Choose lifeguard supervised settings. Only 1% of drownings in Ontario happen in lifeguard supervised settings.
This beach and other beaches across Norfolk County, they aren't staffed with lifeguards, so people need to be aware of that when they're coming into our beach areas, whether it's Port Dover or Turkey Point or Long Point.
They say this weekend's incident serves as a reminder that being prepared can make all the difference during peak beach season.
And these things, again, they can happen unexpectedly. If it wasn't for the swift action of a young 12-year-old and a bystander on the beach, we'd be having a very different conversation today.
Hannah Schmidt, CTV News, Port Dover.
Coming up, we're live at the Canadian Fossil and Discovery Centre with our Joseph Bernacki. We're going to find out a little bit more about some of the specimens being stored there. Stay with us.
CTV Morning Live is brought to you by Robin's Donuts, your favorite stop.
It's 13 degrees outside this morning with just a slight breeze. 5K winds out of the north-northeast, the pressure falling, the humidity sitting at 84%. We got that little, I don't know if it's a fly or a beetle. He's too zoomed in to see what we got going on out there this morning, but he's loving up our camera and we're loving you right back. A little bit of entertainment first thing this morning. All right, smoke, that's going to be an issue today throughout the province, or most of the province anyway. You can see all of the places that are included in the air quality statement. So just something to keep in mind. It might not be a great day to have your windows open or to be spending long periods of time outdoors or to be exerting yourself outdoors, or anybody with breathing issues. Extra caution needs to be taken. That fire smoke might not be dissipating much through northern Manitoba. You won't be getting the precipitation that we'll be getting here in the south. Through southern Manitoba, those showers, maybe some thunderstorms. Winds will stay on the lighter side today, and that precipitation likely to be rolling through. Here in the southeast, we might not see it until later on this afternoon, but it certainly will perhaps help with the air quality, and maybe if it hits in the right places, some of the fires too. There's a possibility of it moving through parts of northern Manitoba, although it is a slimmer chance today. Cooler temperatures are expected, though, a high of just 22 degrees. That's, in fact, below seasonal, 26 normal for a daytime high. Now, 13 is a normal low. That's where we're starting out this morning and where we'll fall to again this coming night with that risk of thunderstorms continuing. And then tomorrow, clearing throughout the day today. A little bit brighter, a little bit warmer, 25 degrees on tap. It gets even warmer yet later on this week as we're pushing up into the high 20s and even hitting into the low 30s with the possibility of storms again.
Thank you, Terry. A church in the RM of Rockwood celebrated a major milestone on Saturday, honoring the community spirit and faith.
I remember taking part in all the races and all the activities and the fish pond and the canteen and all that.
Grassmere Church was founded back in 1875, marking this year as its 150th anniversary. The church also has a cemetery with the past community members buried. It has been the beacon of community spirit in the region. To celebrate the milestone, residents came together for a day of festivities and food. The spirit of the event was to remember the meaning of the church and the cemetery.
It's very special because all our parents and grandparents are in the cemetery.
Yes.
We'll never be a part of, well, we'll never not be a part of this community with our families behind us there.
Activities in the event had major throwbacks. The same original rope from past picnics was used for the tug of war. Small canteen, children's fish pond, and races were also held. The church closed down several years ago, but 2 services are still held every year to keep the ties with the community. A wildfire burning near Kelowna, BC has now forced people out of several homes. Homes are in the Elysian area of Kelowna are at risk from the Whelan Creek fire burning northwest. People living in more than 100 homes are being warned to be ready to go at any time. The fire, which was discovered yesterday, grounded flights in and out of the Kelowna area yesterday. There are more than 80 wildfires burning across BC right now. Ontario Premier Doug Ford and Alberta Premier Danielle Smith are scheduled to meet in Calgary today. The 2 premiers are going to sign a memorandum of understanding that focuses on building new energy and on trade infrastructure. This will be the latest in a series of deals Ontario has signed with other provinces, which are meant to reduce interprovincial trade barriers. The shift to electric cars seems to be stalling, at least in North America. And this past week, Canadian automakers pushed the federal government to drop EV sales targets. CTV's Colton Prale reports.
Drive to increase electric vehicle sales across North America is hitting a major bump in the road.
Sales in Canada have collapsed.
This week, automakers pushed Canada to scrap standards that would require 20% of new cars sold next year to be electric or hybrid. Right now, that number is just 9%. Meanwhile, Quebec is softening its EV sales requirements, now putting hybrid vehicles on par with full electric vehicles.
By allowing more credits for plug-in hybrids, yes, that's a positive step. It doesn't solve the problem.
It comes as the United States is slowing down on EVs. Donald Trump's newly signed Big Beautiful Bill ends tax credits for EV purchases and drops subsidies for battery companies. But as electrification slows in North America, around the world, it's ramping up. Last year, 1 in every 5 cars sold globally was an EV, and sales jumped 35% in the first quarter of this year.
When the entire Canadian auto industry is producing somewhere around 1.5 million units, that's not enough to withstand a global marketplace that runs into the hundreds of millions per year.
China is the biggest exporter of electric vehicles and spends hundreds of billions of dollars to subsidize its industry. Currently, Canadian automakers are protected from Chinese competition by tariffs that roughly double the cost for Canadian buyers. But some argue those tariffs should be lower.
They're good cars, they're affordable cars, and bringing in that competition is going to make our domestic automotive manufacturers drive down costs as well.
The auto industry is calling for Canada to bolster the country's electric supply chain and better the chances of consumers buying Canadian.
We haven't invested in our strengths, which is all the critical minerals that go into batteries are here.
The Canadian government hasn't said whether or not it plans to drop the standard, which takes effect next year and would see all cars sold from 2035 on be hybrids or electrics. The auto industry says it will have to, because they simply won't hit that target. Colton Prale, CTV News, Ottawa.
An all-around experience of lively African market came right to the heart of Winnipeg over the weekend. The Naija market took place on Saturday at the Forks. Afrobeat music and the delicious aroma from food trucks filled the air. The event first started in Winnipeg just last year, and it became a huge success, expanding to cities like Brandon, Edmonton, Calgary, and Brampton. The organizers say the experience is more than just shopping.
You know, kids, you see them running around the market, you know, they're playing, they're eating, they're doing all sorts. So that's the same thing we're trying to, you know, exemplify here, where everybody's having fun, coming together. You're not just shopping, you're interchanging culture with us.
This year's event featured nearly 100 vendors and 20 community groups. The market is now heading to Brandon's Princess Park on Saturday, July 19th. Here's a look at what's happening on the street on McPhillips right now. It looks like things are moving quite well starting off this Monday morning. If you see any issues out on the streets, please let us know. Here's a look at your gas prices. The Canadian average is $1.35, while the provincial average is lower at $1.29. In Winnipeg, the average is $1.27. The lowest price in the city is $1.16. All this info is on gasbuddy.com.
Price at the pump brought to you by kidneycard.ca. Get a free tow and a tax receipt for value of your car.
Let's go back now to Joseph Bernacki, who's live in Morden this morning at the Canadian Fossil and Discovery Centre. Good morning, Joseph.
Good morning, Rochelle, and good morning, Winnipeg. This is super cool. We're getting a chance to showcase a behind-the-scenes look here at everything that happens inside the museum. Very pleased to be joined by Jerry Peters. He is a lab and field technician here at the museum. Thank you so much for your time this morning.
Well, thanks for coming here, Joseph. It gives us a chance to showcase what we do here at the museum, and I thought this morning we would start here in the lab because it kind of, especially at this particular station, showcases the two aspects of our museum, both the public aspect, and as you can see, this is the lab, but we do have a viewing window where the public can watch as we're working and cleaning the fossils, and then also our scientific aspect. It makes up the other half of what we do here, so it brings both things together. So what we have here is it's a mosasaur skull. This was just recently discovered. Actually, it's from the Manitoba escarpment, near Riding Mountain National Park.
Just a couple months ago.
Yeah, we got it here just a couple of months ago. Yeah, it was actually found by Chris at the Fort Dauphin Museum, but they don't have a paleontology department there, so they brought it over here for us to clean.
And talk to us a little bit about the tool that you're holding. This is really fascinating work you guys get a chance to do when you're not at one of the dig tours. Talk to us a little bit about what it is you're holding.
Well, what I have here, this is it's called an air scribe. It's kind of like a miniature jackhammer with a really fine point on it. We use it for removing the rocks from very carefully, meticulously from around the skull. I can give you a little demonstration of how it works.
Yeah, turn it on for us, yeah.
Like a dental tool, but I guess, but basically it just chips away at the rock here. You can see it works quite nicely. Gently removing the rock. I'll just turn that off. It's a little annoying, but and I usually wear earplugs when I'm using this. But it's one of the tools we use. But it's all I use a lot of like dental picks, little toothbrushes even. I have a little air blaster here if I want to very carefully remove some of the dust and stuff. But it's really meticulous, like cleaning a skull like this. And this one's in really nice shape. You can see like all the fine detail of this tooth here. It's if you want to check it out too. But it's really finely preserved, so we want to be very careful while we're cleaning it. Something like this, project like this, will probably take about 6 months to fully clean this this skull. So I started in spring. In summer now, like you say, we're doing a lot of dig tours, don't have a lot of time to work on it.
Jerry, it's all really fascinating. He'll be back later on in the show with us. Stay tuned for more from the Canadian Fossil Discovery Centre. We'll be back in the 7 o'clock hour.
So neat. Okay, thank you, Joseph. Let's go out to the rooftop now. Looks like the sun is slowly disappearing out there.
Yeah, you're right about that. It's risen high enough that there's this band of clouds that is just kind of tucked behind right now. Although directly above, I'm still seeing some brighter, bluer sky. So maybe if it keeps getting a little higher, and we know that will happen. The sun does tend to climb higher as the day goes on, but we'll see if these breaks in the clouds last. We are looking at possible showers or thunderstorms for later today. 13 degrees is where we begin. The winds are very light. Pressure falling, the humidity at 84%. And yeah, with the building clouds, there is that chance of precipitation all across southern Manitoba, beginning in the southwest and then tracking further to the east. That our chance will likely come into the afternoon with showers or possible thunderstorms on tap for later today. And slightly cooler temperatures no matter where you are in southern Manitoba. We're talking low 20s. But for northern Manitoba, you're not getting the cooler temperatures at all. Mid-20s are expected. it will be a hot day. It's also still going to be a very smoky day across much of northern Manitoba. Taking a break right now. We'll be back with more on CTV Morning Live.
CTV Morning Live weather brought to you by ABC Fire and Safety, your CO2 refill store.
Looking at the early markets, it's a sluggish start on Wall Street. Dow futures are down 27 points. NASDAQ futures are leading the losses, off by 95. The S&P is also lower, down 18 points in early trading. The Canadian dollar is seeing a slight uptick this morning. Overseas, the Hang Seng is down 28 points, and Japan's Nikkei has dropped 223. Good morning, it is 6:45. Winnipeg police are searching for a teenage suspect after a man was seriously injured in a machete attack last week outside a St. James convenience store. Officers responded to the assault on July 3rd at 10:44 p.m. in the 1700 block of Portage Avenue. According to police, the victim was attacked by an unknown suspect with a machete, leading to serious injuries. A passerby used a belt as a makeshift tourniquet to help the victim before emergency crews arrived. Officers from the West District applied a second tourniquet. The victim was moved to hospital in stable condition. The suspect remains at large. He's described as a male between 15 and 17 years old, approximately 5 feet 6 to 5 feet 10 inches tall, with a slim build, light complexion, and dark hair. He was last seen wearing a black Tupac t-shirt, ripped black jeans, dark sandals with white or gray socks, and carrying a gray backpack. Police say he was accompanied by 2 other teens at the time of the assault. Anyone with information is asked to contact the Major Crimes Unit at 204-986-6219 or Crime Stoppers. Many Canadians are clearly still boycotting trips to the U.S. after Donald Trump started a trade war and threatened Canadian sovereignty. The ban is giving the East Coast a boost. As CTV's Maria Saru reports, some airlines are actually adding flights to Atlantic provinces.
Touching down in PEI just got a lot easier for Toronto travelers.
More options is better.
Porter now flies daily between Charlottetown and Canada's biggest city, up from 4 times per week. It also added new links to Moncton and Deer Lake. The airline says it ramped up service this summer, partly because more Canadians are skipping the States. It also has more jets to handle the influx.
We've made quite a few schedule changes in the U.S. over the past few months to reflect some softening of the demand.
In June, Statistics Canada data showed Canadian return trips from the U.S. fell for 5 straight months.
Because of Trump.
Because of the rhetoric from Trump about taking over Canada.
I guess they're just afraid of crossing over the border.
Porter says it's seeing 20% more domestic bookings from June through August than in 2024.
We go where the demand is. The overall PEI market is newer to us, but we've been able to grow our presence in there because people have tried us over the years and they want to keep trying us on all the markets they can.
It's not just Porter or PEI riding the wave. WestJet added direct flights to Halifax and Deer Lake from major cities across the country, and Air Canada expanded its schedule across the East Coast.
The runways open and airlines are watching what the numbers say. If the appetite for Atlantic Canada stays strong, new routes could be cleared for takeoff long term. Maria Saru, CTV News, Charlottetown.
Saturday marked 21 years since Tamara Keepness disappeared from her Regina home. The Heritage Neighborhood community east of downtown Regina has been gathering every year to mark the anniversary just a couple of blocks from the home where she was last seen. Keepness was 5 years old at the time of her disappearance. Police say they continue to receive information and hope the case will be solved soon. Quebec's provincial police force have issued an arrest warrant for a prisoner who escaped. This happened at a prison in the Laurentians on Saturday. Laurie Bill Germa has been serving an indefinite sentence for first-degree murder since May 5th, 1992. Correctional Services Canada says staff noticed he was missing from the minimum security unit during the 10 p.m. head count. Police are asking anyone with information to call 911. CSC is investigating how he was able to escape. Canadian soldiers can expect a pay raise by the end of the year. Canada's Chief of Defence Staff says the raise could be a combination of more money, increased benefits, and allowances. There are also plans to hire more soldiers. The move comes as NATO member nations have approved a plan to dramatically increase defense spending to 5% of the country's GDP over the next decade. 2 junior local athletes took their talents to the national stage this weekend. Gabrielle Brombach and Mila Mortel competed Sunday at the 2025 Speedo Junior Development Nationals held at the Pan Am Pool. Both are considered among the top junior divers in Canada. The competition kicked off early in the morning. While neither made the podium this time, they say they will continue their journey.
Just be more focused on my dives and just not thinking about the bad ones I did over and over again, because that gives me a bad mood for the other dives, so it just gets worse and worse.
Both Brombach and Mortel will now head to the Canada Summer Games in August, representing Team Manitoba in St. John's. Here's a look at what's happening in traffic at the Confusion Corner. So far, so good in this area. No issues to tell you about. If you do see any problems out there, though, please let us know.
All right, a little bit smoky out there this morning. 13 degrees is where we begin. North-northeast winds, 5 kilometers per hour. The pressure falling and the humidity sitting at 84%. We should name that little guy, shouldn't we? The little bug on our screen. We'll see how much longer he sticks around for. We'll see how much longer the smoke sticks around for. It moved in yesterday and today, still with the air quality advisory, or the statement, is not a full-out warning. If it were, it would be that purple color that we're seeing in parts of Saskatchewan, but still, it is something to just keep in mind. You'll notice that smell out there, a little bit of a campfire aroma to the air. We may see some improvements today with precipitation passing through. There you can see on the satellite image through the southwest right now, the showers or the thunderstorms, which will eventually be rolling through southeastern Manitoba as well. For northern Manitoba, it's going to be a warm one for you today. Many places will see sunny conditions or smoky conditions. There may be brief passing showers, but nowhere near as likely to see the precipitation that we will see throughout southern Manitoba. Very touch and go light precipitation. But yes, the smoke will certainly be a factor in some parts, more so than others. Thompson, Flin Flon may get the worst of it as far as the smoky conditions go. But these mid-20 temperatures are slightly above seasonal for much of northern Manitoba. That would be typical daytime highs for southern Manitoba. And yet many of us here in the very southern part of the province won't even be reaching seasonal values today, sticking instead in the low 20s with light winds, but that chance of passing precipitation, showers, thunderstorms, both later today, but also possibly continuing overnight. And then clearing for tomorrow as the temperatures begin to rise. It will get hot later this week with another chance of precipitation as we look ahead to the weekend.
Thank you, Terry. Let's check in now on the crew at 103.1 Virgin Radio. Good morning. Happy Monday.
Happy Monday to you. I don't know why I'm so fired up about this, but the following is, everyone, a special presentation. Backyard barbecue hacks and or tips. And again, I'm excessively excited about this. Don't know why. I've been talking Chrissy's ear off all morning.
Like you
about
wouldn't
these.
believe I am
okay.
over it.
Let me start with this. This is one of the best barbecue hacks. Ready?
Yeah.
Cleaning your grill. Everyone, fire that sucker up. Fire up the Q, right? Get her nice and hot there, all right? Then, slice an onion in half, stick a barbecue fork in it. That's how you clean the grill. This motion here. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Huh. Honestly, works. There's tip number 1. Now, Chrissy would like you all to pump the brakes on pepper.
I was saying to Ace that I find people season their food with salt and pepper before they throw it on the grill. So salt, obviously, but pepper burns when it gets fire and it tastes bitter. So I think you can avoid that by throwing pepper on afterward.
Afterwards.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Pump the brakes on pepper. You ever have a skewer, Rochelle Legacy? You got a skewer. Right?
Yes,
you guys
love
have
it.
a skewer. Okay, let's say there's a shrimp on there, a mushroom, and like a piece of green pepper or something.
That sounds
And you
delicious.
go to flip that skewer, but the thing just keeps rolling around, right? So you don't actually, like, it never flips. You're like, what? This is the worst. Double skewer.
Oh.
Right? All
That's
your
right.
problems are solved.
Double skewer.
Interesting.
2 of them. Whoops. Just like that. And then this is my favorite one. Condiments. You got bottles and bottles and jars and jars, bottles and jars all over the place. No. Muffin tin. Boom.
What?
Put them in a muffin.
Why would we do that?
What? Because it's awesome. Muffin tin. You put them all. You go, oh, look at this. I got a muffin tin.
I put ketchup in the muffin tin?
Oh, yeah.
But then I have to refill the muffin tin all the time.
Nope.
How many times have you barbecued this summer?
I don't have a barbecue.
Zero. He doesn't
but I'm
have
hoping
one.
to get one.
All right. Well, good ideas. Thanks for sharing, guys. Most young hockey fans dream of being on the ice, but a teenager from Newfoundland is chasing a different dream. As CTV's Garrett Barry tells us, he's now getting ready to call the action.
8 years old, and here's a few reasons why I love to be the ice capturing reporter.
He's grown up a bit, but one thing Seth Hyde hasn't lost is his love of hockey.
It started right here with this hockey stick and this pair of gloves.
And I'd be commentating imaginary games. I'd be the Leafs or I'd be the Penguins.
Come September, he'll be stepping into the arena and inside the broadcast booth as the play-by-play voice for the Newfoundland Regiment, the newest team in the top-flight Quebec Maritimes Junior Hockey League.
To win it all, he scores!
With mom's theater background and dad's camera operation, Seth has actually been calling minor and junior hockey games since he was just 12 years old.
He had that opportunity to go call a game. It started there. And Steve Power called me within 5 minutes and he said, Jackie, he can do all the playoffs.
Now 17, he's about to face his biggest stage yet.
So just imagine the feeling when hockey returns here with highly skilled players and 6,200 screaming perhaps fans. For a play-by-play announcer, this is like getting called up to the big leagues.
Mom is nervous, but Seth playing it cool.
All the proud fans, the players on the ice, the talent on the ice. I mean, it's going to be amazing, and I'm so honored to be able to call such high-level hockey.
His energy infectious.
I'm so excited. I almost feel like getting my first puppy dog or my first bicycle.
Veteran announcer and now colleague Brian Rogers can't help but love the story.
And I remember Seth being so excited. Such a handsome little, bright-eyed little guy, you know, sweet, great smile. It warmed my heart because there's not many that want to do what we do.
And it's a bit fitting that this junior hockey team is taking on what they believe to be the youngest play-by-play announcer in league history. Seth will finish high school next year, sharing classrooms with some of those same players on the team. Garrett Barry, CTV News, St. John's.
That's incredible. Good for him. All right, we're going to take a break here. We'll be back after this with more news, weather, and traffic. Stay with us. Good morning. It is 7 a.m. on Monday, July the 7th. You're watching CTV Morning Live. Now, wildfires have started to get out of hand again in northern Manitoba. It's affecting people's lives. People are being forced to leave. Some people are being put on evacuation notice. That could happen in just a matter of hours. So we're going to break down the latest on what's going on in northern Manitoba, as well as give you the latest from some of the communities. But first, your headlines. Northern Manitoba on high alert. Communities forced to evacuate as wildfires flare up again. Plus deadly floods in Texas. Over 80 people lost after a summer camp turns into a disaster zone. And cool gardens are back. Installations that bring shade, style, and summer relief. Bring it in, Terry. Now, we had a little bit of relief from the heat yesterday and a little more today. It's starting off cool.
That's right, yes. Well, not necessarily cool for morning temperatures, but you are right about the cooler weather that we experienced yesterday and will later today. It's our overnight lows that are pretty much bang on normal for this time of year, but our daytime highs that'll keep things just a little off the mark of seasonal. 13 degrees is where we begin with the north-northeast winds, 5 kilometers per hour. The pressure falling, the humidity sitting at 84%. I think Bud the bug. Hey, Bud. Bud. You don't remember. Hey, Bud. Anyway, taking a look across the province today at the air quality warnings that are in place right now. Most of the province included in that. That's the yellow that you're seeing. If it was a straight up warning, it would be showing up as purple. This is just slightly downgraded, but certainly you're going to notice the smoke. We noticed it starting to waft in yesterday and now lingering through the day today, probably, unless we get a little more relief in the form of showers or thunderstorms that could be rolling through southern Manitoba, and we will likely see some of that later on today here in the south. Northern Manitoba, the area needing that precipitation the most, likely won't be seeing much. Perhaps some very scattered patchy showers, but really not amounting to much at all. It's more likely to be passing through southern Manitoba and maybe even overnight before it clears out for tomorrow. Northern Manitoba is going to actually experience warmer temperatures than we will today, pushing up into the mid-20s. We'll be in the low 20s through most of southern Manitoba, but back back to those mid-20s for tomorrow, and then the high 20s, and then even hitting that 30-degree mark with a chance of precipitation again later this week. And thank you to Carmen for our art today. What a beautiful summery scene this is. 7 years old and very talented, Carmen. Thank you. We would love to see your art as well. Draw, color, paint for us. Take a picture of that art and email us to winnipegweather@ctv.ca.
Thank you, Terry. Wildfires are threatening several communities in northern Manitoba, forcing some people out of their homes. Leaders from Titasqueyak Cree Nation say at least 7 homes in the community have been destroyed by fire. About 175 people have also been forced out. This is the second time Titasqueyak Cree Nation has been evacuated during this wildfire season. Some residents in northern Manitoba are now living in constant fear, either on alert or being told to flee in a cycle that keeps repeating. CTV's Alex Karpa has the latest on the ever-changing danger on the fire front.
Wildfires continue to threaten several communities in northern Manitoba. This video from Titasqueyak Cree Nation shows large plumes of smoke surrounding the community. Leadership on Saturday confirmed through a social media post that at least 7 homes have been destroyed from the fire on Friday. This photo shows the trail of devastation from the air. Meanwhile, those living in Marcel Colombe Cree Nation near Lin Lake are once again evacuating due to new and growing fires in the region. Those living in Leaf Rapids have been told they could be evacuating sometime soon. The city of Thompson, with about 13,000 people, is monitoring a new fire about 8 kilometers north of the city, and there are medical evacuations occurring in South Indian Lake and Pimicikamak Cree Nation.
The magnitude of these fires have really taken our communities off guard.
Grand Chief Garrison Settee has been keeping a close eye on the evolving situation up north. He is calling on the provincial and federal governments to increase resources and aid to the area to help not only the evacuees, but those on the front lines.
There's not enough equipment on the ground. There's not enough support with water bombers and all the essential equipment. Those are the challenges our First Nations face. So they're never ready to deal with any fire because of the equipment that's missing.
Manitoba has been dealing with one of its worst wildfire seasons in recent years. There are over 60 active wildfires throughout the province, with over a dozen of those out of control. Alex Karpa, CTV News, Winnipeg.
Health officials are warning about 2 more potential measles exposures at hospital emergency rooms. They're at the Health Sciences Centre Children's Hospital Emergency Department between 11:10 p.m. Monday, June 30th and 1:25 a.m. the following morning. The other is the Emergency Department at Boundary Trails Health Centre from 10:20 p.m. July 1st to 1:35 a.m. July 2nd. Anyone who is at those locations during those times is being asked to monitor for symptoms for about 3 weeks and make sure their vaccines are up to date. In the latest updates from officials in Texas, at least 82 people are dead and 41 known missing after heavy rain brought flash floods to parts of the state.
There were so many people who were just camping out, not children in camps, but adults camping out near the river. People in RVs and things like that. There are people who are missing who are not on the known confirmed missing because we don't yet know who they are.
Kerr County has been hardest hit by the flooding, with at least 28 children still missing. At the center of this tragedy is a popular summer camp, Camp Mystic, located along the Guadalupe River, which rose to almost 8 meters in less than an hour in the early morning hours Thursday. Over a dozen campers have already been confirmed dead, and several others are still missing.
There are 10 Camp Mystic campers unaccounted for and 1 counselor. We continue to offer our condolences to those affected, and we will work tirelessly till we reunite them with their families.
President Donald Trump announced on Sunday that he had signed the major disaster declaration for the county. He says the move will ensure first responders immediately have the resources they need.
We've been in touch with Governor Abbott and very close to Governor Abbott and everybody in Texas. Kristi Noem has, as you know, been there, and will continue to be there. And we're working very close with representatives from Texas, and it's a horrible thing that took place. Absolutely horrible. So we say God bless all of the people that have gone through so much, and God bless the state of Texas.
Trump also saying he expects to travel to Texas on Friday to visit areas hardest hit by flash flooding. Creative art installations are coming back for the summer all over Winnipeg as part of Cool Gardens 2025. Storefront Manitoba launched the annual design competition and public showing on Saturday, featuring local, national, and international artists. 5 designs were selected by a jury, and 4 installations were invited to participate. One of the 9 designs is something we can all use for the upcoming summer.
Prominent bike that's been manufactured to power a giant fan, essentially. It looks like a hamster wheel, but it's actually a way to cool off in the summer.
This giant fan, anything for a breeze, is going to be on Graham Avenue to help people cool down from the summer heat. The installations are available at Assiniboine Park, Osborne Village, the Forks, and on the redevelopment portion of Graham Avenue. The exhibition will stay until September. Dozens of runners have used some unique footwear for an annual Pride race in Madrid. You're watching their annual high heel races. Participants sprinted 100 meters wearing 15-centimeter stiletto dresses, feather boas, and handbags. They also taped up their ankles for extra stability on the cobbled streets. Madrid's Pride Parade was held Saturday. Here's a look at what's going on the St. James Bridge. Things are starting to pick up over here, but overall moving well. No issues to tell you about. If you see anything out there, please let us know.
Canada's benchmark stock index, the S&P TSX Composite, gained about 1% over the course of last week and will begin today's trading day at 27,036 points. In the U.S., stocks also rose last week, and trading will resume today after pausing for the July 4th holiday on Friday. Shares of Tesla were down more than 7% in U.S. pre-market trading this morning as investors reacted to news that CEO Elon Musk has created a new political party. Investors and analysts have been critical of Musk's political involvement in the past, saying it distracts him from running his companies. This morning, an analyst at the Wall Street firm William Blair said, quote, "Investors are growing tired of the distraction at a point when the business needs Musk's attention." Finally, the Canadian dollar was trading this morning at 73.2 cents U.S. From the BNN Bloomberg Newsroom in Toronto, I'm Paul Bagnall.
Let's go back now to Joseph Bernacki, who is live in Morden this morning, learning all about fossils. Good morning, Joseph.
Good morning, Rochelle, and good morning, Winnipeg. Yeah, we're inside the lab right now here at the Canadian Fossil Discovery Centre. Really, really cool getting a chance to see the behind-the-scenes look here in Morden and all the hard work that the team of paleontologists and lab and field technicians do. Cameraman Kenny's showing the Mosasaur skull that we got a chance to showcase in the 6 o'clock hour. This specimen was recently donated from an area just outside of Riding Mountain National Park, actually. It's been fascinating that they were showing us some of the tools that work on some of the individual fragments they've been able to recover, including this tooth here I know Kenny's been showing. It's been fascinating to see all these different things this morning. Coming up throughout the show, we're going to talk about the dig tours that take place here as well. In about 20 minutes time, we're going to be talking about one of the sharks on display. The field feeder sharks, I believe, is the species that we're going to be talking about. Some of these donations to my right have been donated from all different parts of the world. There's bison skulls behind us and so much more. Really fascinating getting a chance to take a look at history here, and we'll be back coming up on the show shortly.
Okay, thank you, Joseph. Let's go out to the rooftop now. It's a pretty good start to the week so far.
Yeah, I'd say so. I mean, it's beautiful out here right now, just a little bit cooler, very calm with the winds. Great morning to just sit outside with your coffee and enjoy nature a little bit. It is a little bit smoky. It's not drastically smoky. We aren't under air quality warnings. We are under air quality statements or advisories regarding the smoke in the air, which you probably started to notice yesterday. That's when I began to notice it. Was probably yesterday morning, and actually Saturday night I wanted to sleep outside, I remember, and thought, oh, it's kind of smoky. Anyway, that smoke has only just continued to increase a little bit, so you will notice that, although the winds, like I said, very light. 15 degrees, those northeast winds were only 6 kilometers per hour. The pressure is falling. The humidity sitting at 77%. The sun is up. We've got a mix of sun and cloud out here this morning. It is looking a little bit cloudier off to the west right now. And on the satellite image off to the west, we've been watching showers and thunderstorms that are tracking further to the east and will likely find ourselves in the path of later today. And then there's northern Manitoba, who's actually in for fairly clear conditions if it weren't for the smoke. A lot of sunshine and even warmer temperatures expected across northern Manitoba. climbing up into the mid-20s through the north, low 20s here in the south, but we will notice that warm up in the days ahead, getting hot by the middle of the week.
CTV Morning Live Weather brought to you by Canadian Footwear, helping you find the perfect fit.
Thank you, Terry. Let's check in now on our question of the day. We want to know which Manitoba lake is your go-to spot for cooling off in the summer. Our question of the day has moved from Twitter. So now we want you to text your answer along with your name to 10400. Make sure to follow the automated instructions so we can feature your response. At CTV Morning Live, we're all about celebrating your amazing pets, whether they're furry, feathered, or scaly. Your Pet of the Week submissions are amazing. We want more, whether they're dogs, cats, birds, or any other pet pals. Send them our way. Drop your pet photos and a fun little story about them to petoftheweek@ctv.ca, and then catch us every Thursday between 6 and 9 to find out if your pet is our Pet of the Week on CTV Morning Live. Right now, we're sitting at 15 degrees. We'll be back after this with more news, weather, and traffic. Good morning, it is 7:16. The City of Winnipeg has hired the Main Street Project to provide 24-hour-a-day mobile outreach to homeless people in the city. The Main Street Project will offer support, transportation, wellness checks, and connections to shelters and housing services. Officials from the organization say the funding will allow them to meet people where they're at, building trust and opening the door to stability and housing. The contract is worth $275,000 and runs from July the 1st until December 31st. Included in the deal is the option for 2 mutually agreed upon 1-year extensions. Conservative leader Pierre Poilievre was at a Calgary Stampede campaigning for the upcoming by-election.
We don't back down and we don't run away when things get hard. We dust ourselves off, we get back in the saddle, and we gallop forward to the fight.
Poilievre started campaigning in the riding of Battle River Crowfoot, where he hopes to regain a seat in the House of Commons. Poilievre lost his old Ottawa area riding in April's federal election. Former Conservative MP Damien Kurek resigned to allow Pierre Poilievre to run in that riding. Kurek won the riding with nearly 83% of the vote. Strategists say the challenge for Poilievre will not be to underperform in this by-election. Another issue Poilievre will have to navigate is Alberta's separatism, which is something he's already spoken out against. The Battle River Crowfoot by-election is August 18. There is optimism from the U.S. president on a potential ceasefire in Gaza ahead of his meeting with Israel's prime minister today.
I think there's a good chance we have a deal with Hamas during the coming week, pertaining to quite a few of the hostages. Yeah. You know, we've gotten a lot of the hostages out, but pertaining to the remaining hostages, quite a few of them will be coming out. We think we'll have that done this week.
Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu arrived in Washington Sunday. He'll sit down with Trump at the White House today. The U.S. president has vowed to be firm about ending the war in Gaza. A new space now open at the Forks is inviting you to explore Indigenous culture, businesses, and experiences.
It's about culture, it's about history, and it's about stories that have always been here.
Indigenous Tourism Manitoba and the Forks North Portage Partnership launched Explore Indigenous. It offers learning tools and interpretive displays and builds awareness about Indigenous tourism experiences and businesses. To complement Explore Indigenous, ITM is also launching a new guidebook, Adventure to Understanding, highlighting accredited operators across Manitoba. Here's a look at what's happening at Kenaston and Sterling Line. Things have picked up over here, as you can see, but there are no issues to tell you about in this area. If you see any problems out on the streets, please let us know.
Traffic is brought to you by Curtis Carpets, Manitoba's flooring experts.
It's time now for some entertainment news. Winnipeg just got a shout out in a new track by Chance the Rapper.
Blow a pound like I'm Jenny Craig. I'm cold as Winnipeg.
In case you missed it, that was Lil Wayne saying he's cold as Winnipeg. It's a line from Chance the Rapper's newest single called Tree. The song is part of a larger project called Starline Gallery, which the rapper has been working on for some time. Khloe Kardashian is in Wonderland.
Is your whale phobia real? God, I'm like having all these visuals in my head. Like my heart is racing right now talking about it actually. Oh, gosh, I have to calm down.
Kardashian released a solo episode of her podcast, Chloe in Wonderland. It's a series called Ask Me Anything. She answers questions on her whale phobia, as well as things like family, co-parenting, and healing. Kardashian has had featured guests on her podcast, including Jay Shetty and Mel Robbins. Coldplay starts its 4-show run in Toronto today. The band is playing 4 shows this week at Rogers Stadium. Coldplay is the second act to play this new 50,000-seat venue. There were some complaints about crowd control and getting around after that first show. This time, there will be some changes. Shake off those Monday blues with American Ninja Warrior at 7, followed by The Rookie, and E-Talk wraps up the night at 10:30. It's all right here on CTV. A little bit of a smell of smoke in the air this morning, Terry. It might be good to just sort of stay inside if you're having some respiratory issues.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, it's one of those days where we've got the slightly cooler temperatures, but because of that smoke, I wouldn't exactly recommend opening the window. You don't want to be bringing that into your home this morning. Here's a look right now through the Bathfitter Live Eye. Bathfitter, your bath and shower experts for more than 40 years. A little bit hazy out there this morning, a little bit cool, as I mentioned, and then perhaps a little bit soggy with some possible showers or thunderstorms rolling through later on today. 15 degrees is where we're sitting right now. Our coolest temperature was 13, which, by the way, is a normal low for this time of year. That's where Brandon, Melita are still sitting right now, and still a few places just to the north that are slightly cooler than that. We've got 11 degrees, Roblin, Swan River, Gimli, Pinawa, just barely into the double digits, but that's up from the high single digits where you were last hour. So making some gains already, and so too will northern Manitoba. In fact, northern Manitoba will likely surpass us with the temperatures pushing up into the mid-20s for later on today. Right now, starting out in those low to mid-teens with the air quality warnings, or pardon me, advisories through most of the province. If it was purple, that's the warning, but these are just downgraded slightly from that. Still, you will notice that smoky smell through the day. Maybe some relief to come with the possibility of some passing showers, thunderstorms that'll be rolling through southern Manitoba for later on today. I mentioned northern Manitoba might even surpass us with some of the temperatures, pushing up into those more so the mid-20s, whereas low 20s are expected here through southern Manitoba. Chance of showers or thunderstorms through the day and maybe even overnight, but then clearing out for tomorrow with the mercury on the rise and getting hot later this week with another round of rain to come. And our weather picture today, incredible shot of nature with the fires burning there in the background, glowing orange, and then the northern lights taking on a different colored hue because of that smoke. Thanks to Tara Lee for this stunning photo. Keep them coming, please, to Winnipeg Weather at ctv.ca.
Thank you, Terry. You can only imagine the stress of losing your home in a wildfire just weeks before your due date. A Saskatchewan mother faced exactly that last month. CTV's Allison Bamford caught up with her and her family as they adjust to a new home, a new community, and a new baby.
Peaceful cooing in a quiet house that normally is anything but.
Usually at least one kid's crying at any given time.
So precious. It's nap time in this 4-bedroom Saskatoon rental, a temporary home for Brooke Kindle's family of 5, along with her parents, 3 dogs, and a cat. A month ago, their homes in Denair Beach, Saskatchewan, burned to the ground. They lost everything in the wildfire.
It's been some of the most stressful times of our entire life.
Adding to the stress, Kindle was 35 weeks pregnant at the time and already experiencing stress-induced contractions.
He's so sweet.
Now, less than a week old, her daughter Callie is the biggest distraction from the chaos.
It definitely is the light at the end of the tunnel. She is making everybody smile.
This Saskatoon neighborhood where Kindle is staying is a long drive from Denair Beach, about 6.5 hours. A trip she's waiting to take, at least until the baby's a little older. Many others returned to the community late last month with no homes to go back to. Local resorts are opening up their doors to house as many as they can.
People don't have anywhere to stay locally. Like, we already had a housing shortage within the 3 communities, and now there's an added stress to it.
You give her a kiss.
Back in Saskatoon, the Kindles are making the best out of their situation, adjusting to a new normal they never imagined 9 months ago.
Our life is not at all what we had initially planned.
But there's hope. In the next 9 months, they'll be back in their home community with a fresh start. Allison Bamford, CTV News, Saskatoon.
It's that time of year, and CTV and Chicken Chef want you to share how you're soaking up the season. From concerts to getaways, whatever makes your summer magical, we want to see it. These are just a few of the amazing moments from last year. And now it's your turn. Upload a photo of your summer fun for a chance to win the $5,000 grand prize, plus daily draws for $50 Chicken Chef gift certificates. So what are you waiting for? Grab your phone, snap that sunshine, and share your summer with us today. Coming up, Joseph Bernacki is live in Morden, visiting the Canadian Fossil and Discovery Centre. We're going to find out a little bit more about this fossil. Stay with us. Let's go back now to Joseph Bernacki, who is live this morning at the Canadian Fossil Discovery Centre in Morden. Such a cool place to visit. The kids will love going there too. Good morning, Joseph.
It's a great place for all ages, Rochelle. Yeah, we're having a lot of fun so far this morning. I've got Bruno Costa. He's a paleontologist here at the Canadian Fossil Discovery Centre for the next few segments. Bruno, thank you for your time this morning.
Well, thank you so much for being here. Yes, this is a very immaculate specimen that I have behind me here, Dave the shark, a filter feeder shark that was discovered in 1975. And it's a new species of filter feeder shark from this area, southern Manitoba. And eventually we'll get a specific name. It'll be studied in a scientific article eventually. And yes.
And there's a couple of ways that we can date its history and learn more about the species that, Kenny is showing right now. Talk to us a little bit about the teeth you mentioned. Very interesting how small they are, but you're still able to learn so much.
Yes, the teeth of this specimen are very microscopic. So this tells us it's a filter feeder shark. It was discovered a few years ago by Jerry Peters, the lab technician and field technician here. And every shark species, even today, that's a filter feeder, like whale shark, basking shark, they all have teeth. Microscopic though. So we assume that this teeth of this specimen being 0.5 millimeter in size, we assume it was a filter feeder as well.
And the vertebrae, you can also learn so much. You were pointing it out before we were live this morning. Talk to us a little bit about what we're looking at right now on the camera.
So the vertebrae, they have these radial lamellae. So these are ridges on the sides of the vertebrae that tells the order of sharks it belong to, which is the order Lamniformes. The great white shark is part of that, mako sharks, basking sharks, and a few others. So that tells us right away that this specimen was a lamniform shark like the great white shark, but this one was a filter feeder, not a predatory one like eating fish or marine reptiles at the time.
What else interests you about this species, this particular species that you guys have here on display?
It's exceptional because it's made of cartilage, so it's even rarer to find specimens, fossil specimens are made of cartilage like sharks are. So it's, for me particularly, who study sharks, is an exceptional specimen that I'm very grateful for studying in the future. So it'll get a specific scientific name eventually, not just Dave the shark, but yeah.
Well, we appreciate your knowledge, Bruno. I know you're going to be joining us again in just a few minutes at 7:42. We're going to be looking at Plessis, which is just off to our left. So stay tuned from the Canadian Fossil Discovery Centre here in Morden. So much history and knowledge to share. We'll be back in just a few minutes.
Okay, thank you, Joseph. And we really need some rain in some parts of the north because those wildfires have started again. Will there be some relief, Terry?
Probably not a lot. Not today. I mean, the touch and go showers that parts of northern Manitoba will see will really not do much as far as what we need them to. Here in the south, we're more likely to deal with showers or thunderstorms. We're all dealing with this smoky haze, though, that moved in over the weekend. Slightly cooler temperatures, too, that we noticed over the weekend will linger for another day. We're starting out at 15 degrees. Actually, we started at a seasonal low of 13. It's the lack of gains that we'll make today that will keep us a little bit shy of seasonal. Northeast winds on the lighter side, just 6 kilometers per hour. The pressure is falling and the humidity sitting at 77%. That air quality advisory in effect, that's all of the yellow that you're seeing, or the warning through parts of Saskatchewan. We will probably not notice a whole lot of relief because, like I said, the rain that we're needing today isn't going to be landing in the areas that are most at risk of those fires or where things are burning more actively. Here through southern Manitoba, we may see some showers or possible thunderstorms rolling on through, but again, it's the direction of the wind, and with it out of the northeast today, we still may notice that smoke kind of hazy conditions lingering throughout. 22 degrees, so 26, pardon me now, is a normal daytime high. We're going to be missing that mark by a few degrees today with that possible precipitation and winds shifting out of the southeast about 10 kilometers per hour, remaining very light still overnight. Still, that risk of storms continues down to 13 degrees, a seasonal low. Normal daytime high, as I mentioned, will be 26. We'll get closer to that tomorrow as the sky clears out, a return to the sunshine and eventually a return to the heat, because high 20s and even low 30s waiting for us later this week, with more precipitation to come as we look toward the end of the week and weekend.
Thank you, Terry. The northern Manitoba town of Lin Lake issued a mandatory evacuation order to residents after a nearby wildfire threatened the community's power Friday. Town officials say the wildfire activity was putting a risk to Manitoba hydro lines and the water supply. Joining us now is Lin Lake Mayor Brandon Dulowich. Good morning, Mr. Mayor.
Good morning.
Thanks for joining us. Now tell us what's the latest on this situation right now.
So in last night's fire update from the incident commander, the fire did burn through one of the transmission line poles, or a two-pole structure, and currently the power is still on. I'm not sure how. Speaking with representatives from Manitoba Hydro, they do say they're extremely strong structure. They did inform us that they figure it's through about a 12-pole section of that main transmission line, but the smoke was too heavy to do a proper assessment on the infrastructure. So we're hoping this morning they can get out and actually assess the line and see what kind of damage is actually there.
And everybody in the community are gone?
There's some essential staff, fire departments from down south, Manitoba Wildfire. It's just looking at the fire map, though, a bunch of our crews are timing out and going to be leaving here on the 8th. And it doesn't sound like there's a lot of resources coming to replace them. There's major fires threatening several communities in the north here, and it sounds like some higher priorities than us, so that's not reassuring news.
What do you want from government at this point?
You know, any and all help. We've seen a lot of local fire department staff come from the south with fire engines to help protect the community. We've set up a lot of value protection and sprinklers on the households in the community. I'd say we're ready for it to come into town. We're pretty prepared. We've staged the fire trucks in strategic locations all around the community. Looks like Wednesday the wind's going to have a pretty strong push into town. That'll be a day that'll definitely test what we've set up in town. But on the wildfire side, we had some lightning last night. I can only anticipate some new starts out of that. This fire that we're dealing with right now, fire number 42, is a new start that happened, I think, 5 days ago. It was something we didn't anticipate. There were several new starts, but with the limited crews, this one we weren't able to action, and it just got away on us. So I was asking the incident commander last night if there's new starts today, what our plan of attack is, and he just said he doesn't have the resources to do anything on a new start. So we're just hopeful there isn't any.
This evacuation of the residents on Friday came after people had just returned home after being out for about a month. Tell us what the morale was like when you told them they had to leave again.
Yeah, the mood around town was not great. We advocated very hard with the province this time to get flights out of the community. They went straight to Brandon, to a reception center at the Victoria Inn, and then straight into hotel rooms. And speaking with the residents, it sounds like this second evacuation was handled much better than the first, and the living conditions for people are leaps and bounds above the first time. First time was not ideal.
Do you have any messages for Lin Lake residents right now that might be watching?
Yeah, we personally told everybody when they left, just reach out to us if you have any issues. There was a couple instances came up in Brandon, but I believe they were handled in a very timely fashion.
Well, Mr. Mayor, thank you so much for your time today. We'll be thinking about you, and please give us an update when you can.
Sounds good. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Right now we're sitting at 15 degrees under a mix of sun and cloud. We'll be back after this with more CTV Morning Live.
CTV Morning Live is brought to you by Robin's Donuts, your favorite stop.
15 degrees outside this morning, a little bit smoky and hazy with northeast winds on the lighter side, 6 kilometers per hour. The pressure is falling, humidity sitting at 77%. That smoke moved in over the weekend. You probably noticed it, still lingering now. Air quality statements or advisories have been issued by Environment Canada. This is not a full-out warning. If it was a warning, it would be purple. We've seen a lot of that so far this season. But today, it is the air quality statement. So just enough to kind of remind you to be cautious of the time that you're spending outdoors, maybe limit extraneous activities, or if you do have existing health conditions, then certainly you need to take necessary warnings. Here through southern Manitoba is where the rain is going to be rolling today. Much of northern Manitoba remains on the clearer, brighter, drier side, but of course there is that smoke in many places as well. Temperatures today will be climbing to above seasonal values, pushing up into the mid-20s in most places. There may be some very touchy patches of showers is what I'm trying to say. Places like Gillam might see that. Thompson, you're likely to just deal with the heavier smoke. Some places will have it worse than others. Thompson, Flin Flon as well. Other places might see some slightly brighter conditions, but still that smoky haze will linger, which includes southern Manitoba, although we have a better chance of some relief coming with some showers or thunderstorms. Slightly cooler temperatures along with that precipitation, though, topping out in the low 20s versus the mid-20s that northern Manitoba will reach. And by the way, mid-20s or around 26 degrees, in fact, would be normal for this time of year for daytime highs here through southern Manitoba. So we'll be just shy of that today, closer to that tomorrow as the sky clears out, and even hotter yet as we continue on through this week with more precipitation waiting for us through the end of the week and weekend.
Thank you, Terry. Let's go back now to Joseph Bernacki, who's live at the Canadian Fossil Discovery Centre in Morden. They have so many cool specimens there, including a plesiosaur. Good morning.
That's right, Rochelle. Yeah, you got the name perfectly. Bruno Costa joins us again here from the museum. Of course, he's a paleontologist if you're just joining us. As Rochelle mentioned, we've got a plesiosaur behind us. Talk to us a little bit about Plessy and what we're looking at behind us.
So plesiosaurs, first of all, were marine reptiles in the dinosaur time. So picture the Loch Ness monster. So that's the type of animal that plesiosaurs were. Long necks, short heads, but some of them had shorter necks and medium-sized skulls, which is the specimen we're seeing here. Although this one is called Plessy, we have another one at the University of Manitoba, which is called Betsy, after Dr. Betsy Nichols, the first paleontologist that came here to study the fossil assemblage at the museum, and might be a new species of Dolichoryncops, which is a genus of this type of plesiosaur.
That's got to be pretty exciting, eh?
Absolutely, yes, because it adds more to the knowledge that we have of the fossil assemblage, the faunal assemblage of the Western Interior Seaway that covered most of North America during this time in the late Cretaceous. And yeah, it adds more to the animals that were feeding on other animals in this case. This animal would probably eat fish.
Talk to us about what interests you about the plesiosaur, Bruno, from how it, how it swam in the water to the food it probably ate. Tell us a little bit more.
Interestingly, there's no modern analogs of these animals today. Probably turtles are the closest living relatives, but they're still very far apart. But they would basically swim with their flippers, which should be like sort of a flying motion underwater. Nothing like anything that we see today, except for penguins if you think about them, but they're birds. But they would sort of fly underwater, that's for sure.
And before we wrap up this segment, anything else you can tell us about Plessy?
Well, Plessy is from the same family of plesiosaurs like Betsy is, that's being studied at University of Manitoba. New species, I want to stress this again. And yeah, they were very common in the late Cretaceous times in the Western Interior Seaway. And of course, they went extinct 66 million years ago when the dinosaurs went extinct as well.
Super cool information. Well, Bruno's going to be joining us again at 8:06 to talk about some of the mosasaur skulls on display, their partnership with the Miami Museum, what you can see there on display as well. Stay tuned for some more great information from here in Morden.
Thank you, Joseph. Fisheries Canada is keeping a close eye on watercraft entering Manitoba for zebra mussels. These are pictures from their first inspection blitz on Highway 1 near the Manitoba-Ontario border. Over 3 days in late June, they inspected 383 vehicles with 436 watercraft. 110 of the watercraft were not clean, drained, or dried and failed inspection. 38 required decontamination. 2 had visible zebra mussels. They are a concern because they reproduce quickly and can impact fish populations, kill native mussel species, clog water intake systems, and can interfere with swimming and beach activities. Ontario Premier Doug Ford and Alberta Premier Danielle Smith are scheduled to meet in Calgary today. The two premiers are going to sign a memorandum of understanding that focuses on building new energy and on trade infrastructure. This will be the latest in a series of deals Ontario has signed with other provinces, which are meant to reduce interprovincial trade barriers. Canadian soldiers can expect a pay raise by the end of the year. Canada's Chief of Defence Staff says the raise could be a combination of more money, increased benefits, and allowances. There are also plans to hire more soldiers. The move comes as NATO member nations have approved a plan to dramatically increase defence spending to 5% of the country's GDP over the next decade. Here's what's happening now on St. Mary's Road. Traffic volumes have picked up over here, as you can see, and they're moving slowly, but overall moving. If you see any problems out there, please let us know. And here's a look at your gas prices. The Canadian average is $1.35. The provincial average is lower at $1.29. In Winnipeg, the average is $1.27. The lowest price in the city right now is $1.16. All this info is on gasbuddy.com.
Price at the pump brought to you by kidneycard.ca. Get a free tow and a tax receipt for value of your car.
Jermaine Franklin here inside the SportsCenter newsroom with your must-see moment from Sunday. It comes from the FIBA Women's America Cup. Canada taking on Argentina for bronze. Canada down 1 in double overtime, 2.8 seconds remaining. Inbounds pass. Silas Swartz at the basket gets the go-ahead bucket. Argentina still has time on the clock, but no timeouts left. And their last-second heave falls way short. What an ending for Canada to claim the bronze. Swartz, the 19-year-old from Sudbury, Ontario, had 23 points. A new career high with the national team. Canada earns their 14th medal all-time at this tournament. That's your must-see moment. Tonight on TSN, we have an NBA Summer League doubleheader. First, the Thunder take on the Sixers, followed by the Grizzlies and Jazz. Coverage starts at 6 p.m. Central. That's all for now for the SportsCenter newsroom. Have a great day.
TSN Must-See Moments brought to you by Super Blinds and Draperies, your Hunter Douglas shade provider for over 40 years. CTV Morning Live Weather brought to you by Garage Masters, your complete garage specialists.
All right, so stepping out here now, that sun blindingly bright, and off to the east, blue sky, sunshine. Off to the west, much darker looking clouds, and you can see we're about to experience that passover of the darker clouds with perhaps some showers and thunderstorms all across southern Manitoba. We are at risk of some precipitation today. Not at risk, we need it certainly, but what we don't need is the thunderstorms. Lightning strikes could be a little treacherous still with these dry conditions. 15 degrees right now with northeast winds, 6 clicks, the pressure falling, the humidity is sitting at 77%. You're going to notice that smoky haze again today and started to move in over the weekend, and air quality advisories or statements have been issued through most of the province today, and no relief really for much of northern Manitoba. The chance of precipitation is very, very slim. Even warmer temperatures, so not only less precipitation, but hotter temps across the north than here in the south. So mid-20s across northern Manitoba, low 20s here in the south, and we do have that chance of precipitation. Showers or thunderstorms should be clearing back out again for tomorrow with the mercury on the rise again.
Thank you, Terry. New numbers from Statistics Canada show Canadian exports to the U.S. are at one of the lowest proportions ever, while exports to other countries have reached a record high. Some are saying the numbers are encouraging as Canadian companies are moving their products away from the U.S. and towards other markets. Joining us now to tell us more about this and what it means to our economy is President and CEO of the Canadian Manufacturers and Exporters, Dennis Darby. Good morning, Dennis.
Good morning, Rochelle.
Thank you so much for joining us. Now tell us about some of the numbers you've been seeing over the last few months and how some are encouraging and others maybe not so much.
Well, I guess, yeah, one way to look at it, I mean, exports to the U.S. have declined, for 4 consecutive months, and, not unexpectedly, and it's lowered the share of exports that we sell to the U.S., and that's really, as a result of the tariffs, especially steel, aluminum, and automotive. So those have had an impact on all manufacturers, across Canada, but in Manitoba as well, where, exports were down, to the U.S. about 14.5%, and that's pretty much what we've seen in other provinces. So the issue is that from a manufacturing point of view, our biggest trading partner are down quite significantly. On the other hand, we do have some increases in other countries, about 8.5% in other markets. But of course, they're not equivalent. They're all percentages, right? Because what happens is the U.S. is still about 70% of everything we export. In fact, it's probably and manufacturing is so important, especially in provinces like Manitoba, where I am here in Ontario. Mm-hmm. So it is really a mixed bag of results.
Now, Prime Minister Mark Carney has been opening up trade with other markets. Tell us how that is helping to stabilize the economy.
Well, it hasn't yet, and that's the issue. So what's really happening, we've seen an uptick in terms of exports of manufactured goods to other countries. The problem is supply chains that have existed for about 50 years across North America are very difficult to untangle or to break into new markets. So yes, there's some positive news, and we really are encouraged by seeing some, exports to non-U.S. market reaching record highs. A lot of that is to do with commodities, but in terms of manufactured goods, there is some hope. And I think another thing that is really important is the work to try to do better at trading within Canada, which is the whole point of a lot of the work done by the Prime Minister and the Premier in Manitoba and the other provinces, to really try to do more to create some supply chains within Canada. So that's another opportunity to try to build and improve and be less reliant on the U.S.
There has also been a real movement of Canadian patriotism, where Canadians, Manitobans, are buying Canadian-only products. Do you think these numbers indicate it's actually working?
Well, I think we've, so recently in Manitoba, the Premier announced that, the Made in Manitoba program, which we're helping to run as CME. We also have a program like that in Ontario and a couple other provinces. And that is true. Those do tend to help people, look for Canadian supply or Canadian consumer goods. A lot of what we trade, from a trade point of view, are intermediate goods. So what Canada tends to produce, whether it's in Manitoba, clearly about, 10% of the GDP is from manufactured goods. Most of those are things that aren't complete, parts, ingredients, components. So it's a little bit harder to really pivot outside of things like food products and some consumer products. So it has been positive from 2 points of view. One, it helps people realize what's made in the province where they live, and that's a good thing. And it's also begun to help bring suppliers together within the provinces, because these Made in Manitoba or Made in Ontario programs really help identify potential supply chains where you normally wouldn't have thought about it. You would have thought about, well, my easiest supply chain has always been to the U.S. Maybe there's a supplier here or a supplier in another province, and that can work. And so we've been trying to put that network together as a trade association to help improve. It's small steps. They are the right steps. What's really important, we have to get our trade relationship with the U.S.
which of course is hopefully going to happen by July 21st.
Well, we are hopeful, and we are supportive of everything the government's doing.
Okay, well, thank you, Dennis, for your time. Coming up, we are live in Morden looking at these amazing fossils. Stay with us for more. It's time for Let's Celebrate. Let's see who's having a celebration today. Happy 35th anniversary to Bruce and Edna from your family and friends. Happy first birthday, Oli. Love from Millie, Lenny, Mom, and Dad. Happy 36th birthday, Keith. Lots of love from Crystal, Kara, Aubrey, and Daniel. And a happy 52nd anniversary to Phyllis and Wilbert from your family, the gang at Camp Morden Church, the gang at North 40 Ranch, and Buddy, of course. If someone you care about is having a birthday, anniversary, retirement, or graduation, let's celebrate. To submit your celebration, visit our website, ctvnewswinnipeg.ca, and fill out the form at least 2 days in advance. It'll also enter you into our monthly contest for a chance to win a $100 gift certificate to Party Stuff.
Let's Celebrate, brought to you by Party Stuff, 3 Winnipeg locations and at partystuff.ca.
morning. It's 8 o'clock on your Monday. Thank you so much for staying with us here on CTV Morning Live. The Royal Winnipeg Ballet has a brand new artistic director. Christopher Stowell is going to join us at 8:15 to tell us what's on tap this upcoming season and how excited he is to take on this job. The RWB, of course, is celebrating its 85th anniversary. We'll have that for you, but first your headlines. Fire situation in flux. Some communities under threat. Brace for the possibility of new evacuation orders. Taking the message to Albertans, what Pierre Poilievre is looking to avoid in his quest for a seat in the Commons. And 40 years ago, we asked of our music, is it live or is it Memorex? Now, because of AI, a better question in 2025 is, were the music makers ever even alive at all? Bring it in, Terry. Now I listened to a lot of music out on my deck this weekend. It was perfect deck weather, and I want more.
It really was. Yeah, I'm with you there. It just started to get a little bit smoky and hazy. I was still out there on the patio, don't get me wrong, and you'll likely find me out there again today because while there is a little bit of that haze hanging around, it's not so heavy that it's making it unbearable out there. However, I will say that if you have any breathing conditions or health concerns, you may want to consider staying indoors a little bit longer. But the bug is back. Joining us this morning on our camera view, 15 degrees, northeast winds, 6 kilometers per hour, pressure falling, the humidity sitting at 77%. So air quality statements have been issued through most of the province. We know this isn't as bad as it can be because we were dealing with the purple through a lot of the summer so far, or late spring even, and now it's yellow, so that's a slightly downgraded warning. The purple still off in Saskatchewan right now. And if situation changes, we could see this upgraded. The winds are actually on the lighter side and will stay that way today, and even possible relief coming with some precipitation rolling across southern Manitoba. Showers and thunderstorms for most of the south is just not likely to hit in the areas needing it the most. I mean, the possibility is there, but you'll see how scattered and patchy the showers are. Way less organized across northern Manitoba than southern Manitoba, where we will likely deal with showers or some of that precipitation through the day today, maybe even overnight before it clears out for tomorrow. Temperatures across northern Manitoba even warmer today than the south, but tomorrow we too will be getting back up into those mid-20s, 26 degrees normal for this time of year. 22 on tap today, just below seasonal, getting closer, surpassing that, feeling that heat later in the week. And our art today from 7-year-old Carmen. Thank you very much for this beautiful picture, and we'd love to see your art as well. So draw, color, or paint for us. Take a picture of that art, send it to us, Winnipeg Weather at ctv.ca.
Thank you, Terry. Wildfires are threatening several communities in northern Manitoba, forcing some people out of their homes. Leaders from Titasqueyak Cree Nation say at least 7 homes in the community have been destroyed by fire. About 175 people have also been forced out. This is the second time Titasqueyak has been evacuated during the wildfire season.
There's not enough equipment on the ground. There's not enough support with water bombers and all the essential equipment.
The Grand Chief of Marcel Colombe Cree Nation says his community needs more support, as people have also been forced to leave a second time. The community near Lin Lake is being threatened by growing fires in the region. There are more than 60 active wildfires burning in Manitoba. Meanwhile, officials are monitoring the spread of a 6,000-hectare blaze north of Thompson. A Facebook post from the city of Thompson last night says crews are carrying out work to mitigate fire risks should the blaze spread toward the city. And in Leaf Rapids, as of Sunday morning, the town has notified residents of a decision to shift from a potential evacuation to warning an evacuation is now likely and may be called at any time with 10 hours or less notice. A wildfire burning near Kelowna, BC has now forced people out of several homes. Homes are in the Elysion area of Kelowna are at risk from the Wheelland Creek fire burning northwest. People living in more than 100 homes are being warned to be ready to go at any time. The fire, which was discovered yesterday, grounded flights in and out of the Kelowna area on Sunday. There are more than 80 wildfires burning across BC right now. Conservative leader Pierre Poilievre was at Calgary Stampede campaigning for the upcoming by-election.
We don't back down and we don't run away when things get hard. We dust ourselves off, we get back in the saddle, and we gallop forward to the fight.
Poilievre started campaigning in the riding of Battle River Crowfoot, where he hopes to regain a seat in the House of Commons. Poilievre lost his old Ottawa area riding in April's federal election. Former Conservative MP Damien Curic resigned to allow Pierre Poilievre to run in that riding. Curic won the riding with nearly 83% of the vote. Strategists say this challenge for Poilievre will be to not underperform in this by-election. Another issue Poilievre will have to navigate is Alberta separatism, which is something he's already spoken out against. The battle in River Crowfoot by-election is happening on August 18th. A band that has been racking up streams on Spotify has now been confirmed as AI.
Storm in the wind, boots on the ground.
The band is called Velvet Sundown, which has more than 900,000 monthly subscribers on Spotify. Its music started popping up in playlists in June, and people online started flagging the band as possibly AI generated. Turns out they were right. The band updated its bio and now calls itself a synthetic music project guided by human creative direction. Right now, Spotify has no rules on identifying AI generated music. Here's a look at what's going on Portage Avenue. It looks like things are moving really well. Traffic volumes are quite light here to start off this Monday morning. If you see issues out there, let us know. Let's go back now to Joseph Bernacki, who's live in Morden this morning at the Canadian Fossil Discovery Centre. Good morning.
Good morning, Rochelle, and good morning, Manitoba. Yeah, it's been a great morning, as Rochelle mentioned. We're all the way here in Morden, Manitoba. Very pleased to be joined one more segment with Bruno Costa, the paleontologist here at the museum. Thank you so much for your time through all these last few segments.
Of course, thank you so much, Joseph. We are here now behind the holotype specimen of Tylosaurus pemanensis, and that means that the species Tylosaurus pemanensis was first erected by using the specimen behind here, which is nicknamed Sid, by Dr. Betsy Nichols in 1988. That's when she erected the new species, and Sid was the first one to be used for the matter. And then later came Bruce, and then later Susie. So this specimen is the reconstructed skull that is actually comes from Miami, Manitoba.
So to put this into context, this is a replica of the skull for our viewers. The real fossil is on display at the museum in Miami. Talk to us a little bit about the special unveiling you guys had a couple months ago, and just the work that goes in, many hours that went into reconstruct this replica.
Absolutely. I mean, it was more than 500 hours that were used to do this. So basically, after finding the fossils, there was some scanning, 3D scanning involved, and then 3D printing, and then latex molds and casting, and then the parts of the skull that did not exist, because this skull was 35% complete. The vacant spaces were used by other specimens from close relatives of Sid here, from the same species, for instance. And then they were put together to make this assemblage of the skull. So the full specimen is also in the Miami Museum, like you mentioned, so with a collaboration with the Miami Museum, which I urge everybody to see. It's a really neat museum. And yeah, the full skeleton, even the vertebrae, more than 100 vertebrae are in the Miami Museum. So this took more than 500 hours to assemble, but it turned out to be a really good specimen.
Incredible work, and it looks fantastic here, Bruno. We're going to be back coming up at 8:38 for one more segment here from the Canadian Fossil Discovery Centre here. You can find out about the dig tours. Super cool. There's some taking place later this week even, so stay tuned for those details.
Okay, sounds good. Thank you, Joseph. Alberta beef and other meat may cost a lot more this year than it did last. A new global food index has been tracking climbing costs and the reasons why some staples are taking a bigger bite out of the budget. CTV's Kamil Karamali has that story.
This Toronto butcher shop,
I'll send my friend,
bustling on this Sunday.
This is such a treat today.
A rare treat because meat for some has become a luxury.
Definitely meat is more.
Just listen to how much some of these meats,
that is something like oxtail,
have gone up in price.
Prices have practically tripled for myself.
The owner of this shop, Marlon Rosenbaum, feeling a bit raw about how much he's had to dish out for some cuts.
It's a tough time for small businesses. Everything costs more than it ever did before.
Meat, one of multiple items to see a price jump globally this month. The other items, vegetable oil and dairy.
Meat now hitting an all-time high, up 2% since May, but rising more than 6% since last June. Vegetable oil also seeing a 2% increase since May, up 18% from last year. And although dairy only saw a 0.5% increase since May, it's jumped up 20% since this time last year.
We're seeing reduced production because
there are fewer cows around. We've seen dry weather in North America in the last couple of years there's been less feed available.
Less feed available to raise cows not only puts the price of dairy on the rise, it means with a surging population, there's less to go around.
The world will be short 5 times Canada's national production by 2030, so that pressure will only increase.
But these global food prices don't always reflect Canadian food prices. Take vegetable oil, for example, surging in price globally, but in Canada, the cost has actually gone down.
We have excess supply of canola oil in this country, which is the predominant oil that we use.
All in all, people will still have to pay more for most foods.
So what gives you hope to keep going?
I think just trying to keep in mind that good quality meat is something that there will always be a demand for.
Hoping that for these customers, locally sourced meat will still be a cut above the rest. Kamal Karamali, CTV News, Toronto.
Looking now through the Bathfitter Live Eye. Bathfitter, hey bud. Bathfitter, your bath and shower experts for more than 40 years. Yes, that's the name that we've given the little bug that's been hanging out with us all morning long. Little Bud the bug. It's smoky out there this morning, or at least I shouldn't say smoky. It's a little bit hazy out there this morning. It's not the full out thick smoke that makes the sky or the sun look orange. But you can notice just a little bit of that campfire aroma. I noticed that moving in over the weekend, and it is still lingering. Temperature-wise, we are on the rise with the mercury up a couple degrees from last hour. We were at 15 earlier this morning. Our low temperature of 13 degrees, which, by the way, is normal for this time of year. But we're steadily making some gains now. Still sitting around 13 degrees. We've got Brandon, Swan River, and even slightly cooler yet, Dauphin coming in at 11. And then there's northern Manitoba, who's already in the mid, pushing into the high teens. Northern Manitoba will be feeling the heat even more so than southern Manitoba for today. And clearer, drier conditions. I shouldn't say clearer, sunnier, drier conditions, but that smoke is reaching many places through northern Manitoba and all along this eastern border and even areas further east of us. Bit of relief could be coming with the showers or thunderstorms that'll be passing through most of southern Manitoba throughout the day today. And we'll watch as these temperatures rise, and you'll see that northern Manitoba will be surpassing us. Here's noontime, low 20s. High teens or low 20s here in the south. And we're not going to budge much beyond that. 22 degrees our expected high, but parts of northern Manitoba up into those mid-20s throughout the afternoon today. We'll be back into the mid-20s tomorrow with clearer, brighter conditions and hotter temperatures expected as we continue on through the week with a little more precipitation moving in Thursday and through the weekend. Taking a break right now, but we'll be back with more CTV Morning Live.
Good morning, it's 8:15. It's that time of year, and CTV and Chicken Chef want you to share how you're soaking up the season. From concerts to getaways, whatever makes your summer magical, we want to see it. These are just a few of the amazing moments from last year, and now it's your turn. Upload a photo of your summer fun for a chance to win the $5,000 grand prize, plus daily draws for $50 Chicken Chef gift certificates. So what are you waiting for? Grab your phone, snap that sunshine, and share your summer with us today.
Canada's benchmark stock index, the S&P TSX Composite, gained about 1% over the course of last week and will begin today's trading day at 27,036 points. In the U.S., stocks also rose last week, and trading will resume today after pausing for the July 4th holiday on Friday. Shares of Tesla were down more than 7% in U.S. pre-market trading this morning as investors reacted to news that CEO Elon Musk has created a new political party. Investors and analysts have been critical of Musk's political involvement in the past, saying it distracts him from running his companies. This morning, an analyst at the Wall Street firm William Blair said, quote, investors are growing tired of the distraction at a point when the business needs Musk's attention. Finally, the Canadian dollar was trading this morning at 73.2 cents U.S. From the BNN Bloomberg Newsroom in Toronto, I'm Paul Bagnall.
The Royal Winnipeg Ballet has a brand new artistic director. Christopher Stowell is stepping into the role after the departure of Andre Lewis. The RWB is moving into its 86th year, and Stowell is ready to move the company into the future. Joining us now is the new RWB artistic director, Christopher Stowell. Good morning, Christopher.
Good morning, Rochelle.
Well, thank you so much for joining us. Now, this has been 86 years the Royal Winnipeg Ballet is celebrating this year. That's huge. Tell us about why you wanted to be a part of this.
Well, that's a big question. So first of all, 86 years is really impressive.
Yes.
It's the longest continuously running dance organization in all of North America. I learned that sentence recently so I could share it with
so
people.
easily.
Yeah, but that's really impressive. I mean, I was part of the San Francisco Ballet, which is the oldest ballet company in the United States, but RWB has been has a longer history, a longer, more continuous history than even that company.
Okay.
Something that sort of resonates with me is I remember hearing about and seeing the Royal Winnipeg Ballet when I was a teenager, when I was a dance student in Seattle, and it was such an exciting time every time they came on tour. And my mother actually worked here. She's a well-known stager of the works of George Balanchine, and Arnold Spohr invited her here back in the 80s, so I was a kid then. I won't reveal any real numbers, but and I remember hearing all about this brilliant company, this dynamic director, this beautiful young dancer named Evelyn Hart. So it's been part of sort of my dance history for my whole adult life. And when I got a call asking me if this would be of interest to me to apply for this position, I thought life is so interesting because it was not necessarily on my radar. But I worked for the National Ballet of Canada for 6 years recently and loved living here, met my husband here, he's Canadian, and just really thought, when I got that phone call, I thought something about this is coming full circle. My long admiration for the company and my desire to come back to Canada.
So how have you been adapting to living in Winnipeg, you and your husband?
Great, actually. This is the most welcoming city. People stop me at every event and introduce themselves, and we've been invited to parties and events and dinners, and we have a huge list of friends already here. So,
that's so nice
really
to
feel
hear.
welcome. Yeah.
And you're in the process of purchasing a home as well.
We are. We're looking for a house. We might make an offer this week on a place in River Heights. Fingers crossed.
Oh,
yeah.
good luck with that. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about what your vision is moving forward into the 86th year of the Royal Winnipeg Ballet.
Yeah, I'm getting that question a lot, so it's hard to sort of come up with an elevator pitch. However, a friend and supporter of the Royal Winnipeg Ballet gave me a book the other day, and it's called Dancing Through Time. And it really is the entire history of the Royal Winnipeg Ballet. And I've been reading it, and it's fascinating, all the details in there. And I'm thinking about our 90th anniversary is coming up and how we can harken back to the beginnings of the organization. But what sort of the through line of the book is this sort of pioneering spirit. So I'm using that as my guide because I think that can encompass a lot. But being brave, being risk-taking, being distinct to Manitoba, Winnipeg, Manitoba, and Canada. All of those things are really important. And Andre Lewis led the organization for so long, and I feel like I can keep the spirit, the original spirit alive, and still go in different directions. So something that's really on my mind is wanting to really connect with the city of Winnipeg in a more varied way. Like I would love Winnipeggers to come across the RWB in public spaces and for us to perform in big theaters like the concert hall, but also smaller venues where it's a lot more intimate and have conversations between the artists and the audience, and just to have a real arc for the experiences possible with the RWB.
And of course, Ballet in the Park is happening this summer,
yes,
and so that's one of those
thing.
experiences.
Yes, so in fact today is a big day. I started my job officially June 1st, but today is the first day that the dancers are back. They've been on hiatus, so this is their first day back in the studio for the 25-26 season. So when I leave here, I'm going to go directly to their morning class and watch them, and they'll start rehearsing for Ballet in the Park at 11 today.
Oh gosh, so it really officially starts for you today.
Today's the big day, exactly.
Well, thank you for giving us some time today. We really appreciate it, and we're so happy that you're in Winnipeg and you chose to be here. And please come back and let us know how things are going.
I will be back anytime you ask.
Thank you, Christopher.
Yes, and it is going to be a beautiful week for those of you that are either kicking off summer, waiting to get to a lake. We've got some heat coming our way again later on this week. Today, for those of you who've been finding the heat to be a little unbearable, you're getting a break from it. We started to notice that break Sunday, and today it continues with the slightly cooler temperatures, although that's not the case across the entire province, just here in the south. 17 degrees right now with east-southeast winds, 5 clicks. The pressure falling, the humidity sitting at 65%. A few clouds starting to build up now. I've been talking about the darker clouds off to the west of us. And on the satellite image off to the west of us, we've been watching the showers or thunderstorms that are rolling toward us, and we will likely find ourselves in the path of that later today. Much of southern Manitoba could be in for some precipitation, less likely through northern Manitoba, though. Touch and go showers if you see anything at all, but northern Manitoba will be feeling the heat more so than southern Manitoba, with mid-20s on tap today and some smoky, hazy conditions. We too are noticing a little bit of that smoky haze, but cooler temperatures with that. Low 20s for today, but it starts to heat up tomorrow as the sky clears out. We're back up into the mid-20s, and then some high 20s and even low 30s later this week. An incredible shot. You can see the glow of the orange fires burning in the background there, changing the color of the northern lights up above. Thank you, Tara Lee, who snapped this incredible shot. And keep the pictures coming, please, to Winnipeg Weather at ctv.ca.
CTV Morning Live Weather brought to you by Mr. Lube Plus Tires. Same-day oil and tire changes.
The shift to electric cars seems to be stalling, at least in North America. And this past week, Canadian automakers pushed the federal government to drop EV sales targets. CTV's Colton Prell reports.
The drive to increase electric vehicle sales across North America is hitting a major bump in the road.
Sales in Canada have collapsed.
This week, automakers pushed Canada to scrap standards that would require 20% of new cars sold next year to be electric or hybrid. Right now, that number is just 9%. Meanwhile, Quebec is softening its EV sales requirements, now putting hybrid vehicles on par with full electric vehicles.
By allowing more credits for plug-in hybrids, yes, that's a positive step. It doesn't solve the problem.
It comes as the United States is slowing down on EVs. Donald Trump's newly signed Big Beautiful Bill ends tax credits for EV purchases and drops subsidies for battery companies. But as electrification slows in North America, around the world, it's ramping up. Last year, 1 in every 5 cars sold globally was an EV, and sales jumped 35% in the first quarter of this year.
When the entire Canadian auto industry is producing somewhere around 1 million 5 units, that's not enough to withstand a global marketplace that runs into the hundreds of millions per year.
China is the biggest exporter of electric vehicles and spends hundreds of billions of dollars to subsidize its industry. Currently, Canadian automakers are protected from Chinese competition by tariffs that roughly double the cost for Canadian buyers. But some argue those tariffs should be lower.
They're good cars, they're affordable cars, and bringing in that competition is going to make our domestic automotive manufacturers drive down costs as well.
The auto industry is calling for Canada to bolster the country's electric supply chain and better the chances of consumers buying Canadian.
We haven't invested in our strengths, which is all the critical minerals that go into batteries are here.
The Canadian government hasn't said whether or not it plans to drop the standard, which takes effect next year and would see all cars sold from 2035 on be hybrids or electrics. The auto industry says it will have to, because they simply won't hit that target. Colton Prale, CTV News, Ottawa.
CTV Morning Live is brought to you by Robin's Donuts, your favorite stop.
We're at Visage today with owners Farzana and Ali Esmail and scholarship recipient Celeste. We're going to find out about that now. Ali, tell us a little bit about what's been going on lately.
Yeah, so we had the idea that a good way to give back to the community was to choose one graduate from this class of 25, someone who was deserving to get basically a grad glow up, and more importantly, a scholarship for their post-secondary education.
That really is a beautiful way to give back. So how did you go about choosing Celeste?
Yeah, so we just basically asked for video submissions on social media, and people sent in videos about why we should choose them. And we ended up choosing Celeste because she's, you know, excelled in her academics, and more importantly, she's given back to the community a ton, so which made her really deserving of somebody giving something back to her.
Very nice. Celeste, you really are a standout student. Let's talk a little bit about the experience of that glow up.
I would say it's been like an amazing and wonderful experience. I've never been treated like this before, so it definitely felt like paradise. Like, it was really awesome, and I'm really grateful to Visage, getting like to do my nails and like so many stuff that I've never done before. for the first time was truly, and they were amazing. The staff as well was super, like, it was really good, and I'm really glad that I got chosen for this experience.
What a lovely experience, right? Especially to get that for the first time in advance of your big day. How was the grad?
Well, it was great. My grad was really good, and I felt very special, definitely. This experience made me feel special, and I feel honored as well.
Very nice. Now, there is also, of course, the scholarships. So Farzana is actually going to present to you, what is it, $1,000?
It's a $1,000 check for you, Celeste. You good luck with everything, and we're so excited for next year. We're going to be choosing 2 applicants, and it's going to be amazing.
Thank you so much.
There you have it. Double the fun next year. So we're going to have to check back in and find out about that. Celeste, what do you plan on doing with the money?
I plan to put it towards my post-secondary, as I would be going to the U of M to study science this fall, and I plan to put the money towards it. So I'm very grateful to Visage for it, and I hope to further my studies into medicine in the future. So.
Very nice. Well, congratulations. Well deserved. We wish you all the best of luck with your future. And to the two of you, what an incredible gesture that you've made, giving back to the community, to a deserving student. Thank you for joining us today and sharing this with us. All right, smoky outside, or just hazy, I suppose. 17 degrees, and those heavier clouds are starting to move in, and Bud the bug still keeps hanging around. He's been with us all morning long. East-southeast winds, 5 kilometers per hour, the pressure falling and the humidity sitting at 65%. You know, sometimes he just seems to disappear and then he's back again. I wonder if there's more than one. I wonder if Bud has some friends. Anyway, taking a look at our air quality map, and we're seeing some downgrades, or upgrades, I guess is how I should put that. Now a smoke warning in place in parts of the north. All of it was yellow earlier on this morning, which is a statement as opposed to a straight out warning. But as that smoke gets a little thicker and more dense, then you can see that's when it moves from yellow into purple. Across southern Manitoba, the chance of showers or some thunderstorms will be rolling through for us today. We've been watching the clouds stacking up a little bit with that precipitation just off to the west of us. That chance of showers might help with some of these smoky conditions that we're dealing with, but they aren't likely to be reaching much of northern Manitoba. In fact, northern Manitoba could see the temperatures climbing even higher. Low 20s here in southern Manitoba, but mid 20s up north. 22 degrees is a little bit below seasonal today. 26 normal for this time of year. We'll deal with southeast winds as they shift this afternoon, and then north winds still on the lighter side overnight. That risk of showers or thunderstorms continues tonight as we drop down to a seasonal 13 degrees, a little bit warmer tomorrow as the sky clears out. Northwest winds remaining very light. Gets even hotter later this week, up to 28 degrees Wednesday, and could hit 30 by Thursday, with the potential for some storms and a slight cool down as that rain continues through the end of the week and into the coming weekend.
Thank you, Terry. Winnipeg police are searching for a teenage suspect after a man was seriously injured in a machete attack last week outside a St. James convenience store. Officers responded to the assault on July 3rd at 10:44 p.m. in the 1700 block of Portage Avenue. According to police, the victim was attacked by an unknown suspect with a machete, leading to serious injuries. A passerby used a belt as a makeshift tourniquet to help the victim before emergency crews arrived. Officers from the West District applied a second tourniquet. The victim was moved to hospital in stable condition. The suspect remains at large. He's described as a male between 15 and 17 years old, approximately 5'6" to 5'10" tall, with a slim build, light complexion, and dark hair. He was last seen wearing a black Tupac t-shirt, ripped black jeans, dark sandals with white or gray socks, and carrying a gray backpack. Police say he was accompanied by 2 other teens at the time of the assault. Anyone with information is asked to contact the Major Crimes Unit at 204-986-6219 or Crime Stoppers. Canadian soldiers can expect a pay raise by the end of the year. Canada's Chief of Defence Staff says the raise could be a combination of more money, increased benefits, and allowances. There are also plans to hire more soldiers. The move comes as NATO member nations have approved a plan to dramatically increase defence spending to 5% of the country's GDP over the next decade. An Australian woman has been found guilty of murdering 3 of her relatives and attempted murder of another.
She was always guilty in my eyes, no matter what. 3 people get killed amid a lunch. It doesn't just happen like that.
50-year-old Erin Patterson cooked and served beef Wellington containing toxic mushrooms to her husband and 3 in-laws in 2023. Her husband recovered after being in an induced coma. This court case gripped the country over the 10-week trial. The defense argued it was a terrible accident, while the prosecution argued she knowingly used the poisonous mushrooms and disposed of the evidence. Now to a very real debate about a fake band. Music by the group called Velvet Sundown appeared on streaming services last month and quickly gained a following. It was weeks before anyone realized the music and photos of the band were all generated by AI. Here's CTV's John Vanavelli-Rao.
AI is officially getting scary.
On TikTok, there's been plenty of buzz.
This is Velvet Sundown.
About the band, which is adding hundreds of thousands of listeners daily on Spotify.
Dust on the wind, boots on the ground.
Checking out songs AI generated, released by a supposed group called the Velvet Sundown, which very little is known about. And even if it's AI, many we played the music for were impressed.
I would say definitely if you put it on the radio, it would chart.
If you just told me and you didn't tell me that was AI, I probably wouldn't have known.
There are what appear to be AI-generated pictures of the group.
Are you sure we're not real?
Which has put out 2 albums and first flagged as suspicious by users on Reddit.
I think it's pretty good. I think it's no better or no worse than probably thousands of songs that come my way.
The attention it's getting intensifying the debate over whether AI music should be clearly labeled as such, something Spotify and many other streamers don't do.
It's basically the Wild West across Spotify because you can post content and you're not required to let anyone know that it is in fact AI generated.
Music streaming service Deezer uses a tool to detect AI songs. As of April, it said 18% of all music uploaded, that's 20,000 songs a day, are entirely AI generated. That company recently started flagging AI music to its listeners. The CEO writing, AI is not inherently good or bad, but we believe a responsible and transparent approach is key to building trust with our users and the music industry. Do you think they should label this stuff as AI?
I definitely think they should label it. I feel like some people just don't want to listen to AI content or see that.
But some aren't all that fussed about labeling.
I would listen to it anyway, even if it's AI, because good music's good music.
And no matter your views, it is another noteworthy AI moment. John Vanavelli-Rao, CTV News, Toronto.
Here's a look at what's happening in traffic on Donald Street. Looks like things are moving well over here. We have no issues to tell you about at this point. And let's look now at your gas prices. The Canadian average is $1.35. The provincial average is at $1.29. In Winnipeg, the average is $1.27. The lowest price in the city is $1.16. All this info is on gasbuddy.com.
Price at the pump brought to you by kidneycard.ca. Get a free tow and a tax receipt for value of your car.
Let's check in now on our question of the day. We wanted to know which Manitoba lake is your go-to spot for cooling off in the summer. Keith says Birds Hill Park is his go-to spot. Marlene says West Hawk Lake and Saint-Malo Beach. Mark says his favorite lake for fishing and swimming is Nudamik in the White Shell. Thank you so much for your responses. Let's go back now to Joseph Bernacki, who is live this morning at the Canadian Fossil Discovery Centre in Morden. Good morning, Joseph.
Good morning, Rochelle. Yeah, we got one more segment for our viewers this morning here from Morden. It's been a great morning. Very pleased to be joined once again by Jerry Peters, a lab and field technician here. Jerry, thank you so much for being a gracious host this morning.
Oh, well, I'm pleased to have you out here, Joseph.
Yeah, we're talking about dig tours. Really exciting to see the work you guys get to do out in the countryside here. Talk to us a little bit about this area northwest that Kenny's showing of Morden and what you guys get to do on site.
Well, what we're doing, we head out to the Manitoba Escarpment, which is sort of a band of hills that runs right across Manitoba. And that's the area where we find our fossils in. So what we do on our dig tours, it's a full day event, goes from 9 till 5. We take people out, we start with a really quick tour of the museum just so people know what they're going to be looking for. Bring them out into the country and we start looking for fossils. We actually have a 100% success rate on people finding fossils, which is pretty cool. We can't guarantee that you will, but we've been really lucky so far.
I want to emphasize there's a really great opportunity opportunity for people to come. You know, even in the last few weeks, you had a visitor from Texas come all the way here, and they found a skull.
Yeah, indeed. It was a 13-year-old boy from Texas. He was up here visiting his grandpa, and they both came out on a dig tour, kind of a bonding moment, I guess. And we were starting a new excavation site, and sure enough, this 13-year-old boy, whose name was Walt, we named the Mosasaur that he discovered after him. But yeah, after maybe only 20 minutes of digging, he revealed a Mosasaur skull. So it looks like there's a lot more of the skeleton to be uncovered there. So if people want to come out this summer and definitely help us excavate it.
Pretty fascinating to see how many secrets the Pembina Valley holds, eh?
Indeed. It's never ending. We keep finding new species, new skeletons, new specimens every day that we go out.
And you were telling me before we were live this morning, you first got interested, you found something on your farm when you were 8 years old that really drove your passion in this field.
Well, indeed, when I was 8 years old, I was out in a creek on our farm. Me and my dad were out looking for bison bones, actually, and I found a bone that looked quite a bit different from the bisons that we were finding, and didn't know what it was. Brought it, and I was 8 years old. It was 1975. Brought it to Henry Isaac, who basically founded this museum. He was also a teacher, taught with my dad, and we brought it over to him, and he knew right away, well, that's from a really big Mosasaur. So it was, it's kind of been a lifelong passion of mine now.
Before we wrap up, Jerry, what's the best way for people to sign up for a tour and get involved here at the museum?
Probably the simplest way is just to hit our website. It's discoverfossils.com, and that'll direct you to everything you need to know right there.
Wonderful. Well, we appreciate all your knowledge and expertise on the show this morning, Jerry. Again, tours are running this week here in Morden from the Canadian Fossil Discovery Centre. The dig site's not too far from here, as we mentioned, so it's a great opportunity and great chance to learn some more history.
Yeah, and it's only an hour and a half from Winnipeg, so it's a great opportunity to get out the city as well. Thank you, Joseph. Let's go out to the rooftop now. How's it feeling out there, Terry?
A little bit cool, especially now that the sun has tucked behind some of the heavier clouds, which are just starting to pass over us right now. And we know those clouds have been bringing some precipitation in areas to the west of us, so we too could find ourselves right in the path of showers, maybe some thunderstorms for later on today. Slightly cooler temperatures are expected across the south. We're sitting at 17 degrees right now with very light winds, a 5K breeze out of the east-southeast, with the pressure falling and the humidity sitting at 65%. All across southern Manitoba, slightly cooler temperatures. You noticed that yesterday. You also probably noticed the air quality deteriorating a little bit over the weekend. I started to notice Saturday night that slight smell of smoke, and we are under air quality statements through most of the province today, and even just had an air quality warning issued in parts of northern Manitoba up around the Thompson area. Now, as far as the conditions go today, southern Manitoba could be seeing some showers or thunderstorms, which may bring some relief to those smoky conditions. But for northern Manitoba, where it's needed the most, the likelihood of precipitation is very, very slim today. And even hotter temperatures expected across northern Manitoba, mid-20s as opposed to the low 20s here in the south. But we'll be feeling the temps on the rise tomorrow and through the rest of the week, with clearing conditions expected throughout the day and sunshine returning tomorrow. Taking a break right now. We'll be back with more on CTV Morning Live.
CTV Morning Live Weather is brought to you by Destination Dinner Stage, Manitoba's only musical dinner theater.
Good morning, it's 8:45. It's that time of year, and CTV and Chicken Chef want you to share how you're soaking up the season. From concerts to getaways, whatever makes your summer magical, we want to see it. These are just a few of the amazing moments from last year. Now it's your turn. Upload a photo of your summer fun for a chance to win the $5,000 grand prize, plus daily draws for $50 Chicken Chef gift certificates. Grab your phone, snap that sunshine, and share your summer with us today. Many Canadians are clearly still boycotting trips to the U.S. after Donald Trump started a trade war and threatened Canadian sovereignty. The ban is giving the East Coast a boost. As CTV's Maria Saru reports, some airlines are actually adding flights to Atlantic provinces.
Touching down in PEI just got a lot easier for Toronto travelers.
More options is better.
Porter now flies daily between Charlottetown and Canada's biggest city, up from 4 times per week. It also added new links to Moncton and Deer Lake. The airline says it ramped up service this summer, partly because more Canadians are skipping the States. It also has more jets to handle the influx.
We've made quite a few schedule changes in the U.S. over the past few months to reflect some softening of the demand.
In June, Statistics Canada data showed Canadian return trips from the U.S. fell for 5 straight months.
Because of Trump.
Because of the rhetoric from Trump about taking over Canada.
I guess they're just afraid of crossing over the border.
Porter says it's seeing 20% more domestic bookings from June through August than in 2024.
We go where the demand is. The overall PEI market is newer to us, but we've been able to grow our presence in there because people have tried us over the years and they want to keep trying us on all the markets they can.
It's not just Porter or PEI riding the wave. WestJet added direct flights to Halifax and Deer Lake from major cities across the country, and Air Canada expanded its schedule across the East Coast.
The runway's open and airlines are watching what the numbers say. If the appetite for Atlantic Canada stays strong, new routes could be cleared for takeoff long term. Maria Saru, CTV News, Charlottetown.
If you're doing some exploring around the province this summer, perhaps you want to head out to Pinawa. We're going to tell you all the reasons why. Nav Sahi is the owner of Cabin Life Rentals and Navigate Pinawa. Nav, welcome, and tell us a little bit about Cabin Life Rentals.
So we own 3 properties. 2 properties are on Winnipeg River, very close to the Seven Sisters Dam. The properties are fully furnished, luxury properties. One property is in 2 acres, comes with 5 bedrooms, 3.5 baths, dock on the Winnipeg River.
Amazing.
And hot tubs and saunas.
Oh my goodness.
Wood burning hot tub. One cabin has a wood burning hot tub and a wood burning sauna. The other cabin has a 360-degree view of Winnipeg River and the Seven Sisters Dam. Comes with 4 bedrooms, a pool table, a jacuzzi, a hot tub, table tennis. Name it, and we have it.
I love that. So Seven Sisters Dam, worth checking out. I mean, it's absolutely beautiful and a gem here in the province. But Nav, I'm not somebody that loves camping. Okay. This sounds right up my alley. This is like glamping, luxury style, really beautiful.
Yes, it is. And you are on the footstep of North Whiteshell. So you're close to Newtomic Lake, Dorothy Lake. It's Winnipeg River. There's a bunch of stuff to do around there. Not bunch, there's beautiful hikes. You have the Pinawa Dam. You have Pinawa Beach, that's a 10-minute drive from there. 2 golf courses in 20 minutes. And we have stay and play packages with the golf courses.
All the reasons to go and check that out. Yeah. Navigate Pinawa, tell us about this.
It's set up as an ecotourism destination. 5 sites are fully luxurious, on the grid, people like you who don't like camping, right? And there are 5 sites that are off the grid. So 5 sites will have electricity, modern washrooms, hot tubs, saunas, 2 glamping pods, 2 domes, and 1 yurt. And the other 5 sites, they're off the grid. That people who want to disconnect from the city life.
A little more rustic.
Yes.
Okay.
Still fully furnished.
Yeah.
But everything, there's no electricity. Everything is powered through solar.
Oh, neat.
Yeah,
okay.
so 5 sites fully powered by solar, 5 sites fully powered by electricity. And they come with, you will have access to the modern amenities. There's a teepee set up in the middle. There's a theater room in there. We're opening in 15 days. It will be a place to go, hopefully, in Manitoba. 65 acres right across from the old Pinawa Dam, in the bush. Enjoy the luxury in the lap of nature. Okay,
and I mean, summer's an incredible time to explore the province, but this is great for winter too.
Yes, so all the cabins and the glamping, not the off-grid part, all our cabins are fully winterized, fully operational. We set up an ice fishing shack, heated ice fishing shack on Winnipeg River for our guests to enjoy. We are on snowman trails. You can rent ATVs, heated side-by-side on tracks, snowmobiles, name it, we will provide to you. And then the glamping part, the on-grid sites that have electricity are fully insulated, and they have bunkies, like heated bunkies with wood burning stoves. The glamping pods are heated. And I'm really not sure, but I think we will run in January and February. Let's see how the demand is.
Okay. Yeah.
But I really want to promote Manitoba's winter excursions.
We have incredible things to see around this province.
That's exactly
just one place to check out. Nav, thank you so much for joining us this morning and sharing all of this with us.
Thank you.
Yeah, good day for exploring too. It's going to be a little bit cooler, so not that extreme heat that we felt points so far this summer, and we'll be feeling again later on this week. It's 17 degrees right now with east-southeast winds 5 kilometers per hour. The pressure is falling. Humidity at 65%. Hey, Bud the bug. Yeah, he's out there this morning. We'll see if he's back tomorrow. Hopefully. He's been making for a fun show. Anyway, here's a look at the warning map. The air quality statements that are issued through most of the province have now been upgraded to a air quality warning up around the Thompson area. The purple just means it's a little more dense, a little heavier of smoke. We could see more of that as the day goes on. Relief may come in the form of precipitation here across southern Manitoba with the possibility of showers or, as you can see, some thunderstorms that are making their way toward us. So we do have that possibility of precipitation later today, which may help with the smoke and is going to keep things a little bit cool all across southern Manitoba. Low 20s versus the mid-20s across northern Manitoba today. We'll be back up into the mid-20s tomorrow with the sky clearing out, and then temperatures continuing to wrap up high 20s, low 30s with more precipitation, which we'll be needing again later on this week. Chance of showers or thunderstorms continuing on into the weekend when those temperatures settle ever so slightly. Taking a break right now. We'll be back with more on CTV Morning Live.
Rooftop arrangements provided by Lacoste Garden Center. Salon services provided by S&T Spa Salon.
Let's wrap up this Monday show. We kick things off with a paralyzed pup who still loves to run. Look at him go. Little Monty lost the use of his back legs from a disc disease, but still loves to race his brother in his stroller. His love of life hasn't slowed down, which has been an inspiration to his parents and the 7 million fans who've watched this video. What
I feel
sweetheart.
the wind in my hair, in my ears.
He's so sweet.
Oh my goodness, I love it.
Well, when they say you have the patience of a capybara, this is probably what they meant. Capybaras are known for their relaxed and friendly nature, even in situations like this. This little Billy is being a bully, but the calm Cappy doesn't mind while being headbutted. No wonder all animals love them. He's just staying where he is. He's not getting mad.
Someone needs to come along and butt that goat into the koi pond.
What a meanie. He's like, I'm not going anywhere. And he's strong.
He really is.
That does it for us. Have a good day. We'll see you tomorrow.